Okay, then welcome back to J&J Mondays on a Sunday, and this very special top 10 list that we have here, or top 5, or whatever, depending on the time. I'm J77, along with my co-host, as always, Joshkin, and a very special host, Katz. Welcome to the show.
Hello, it's nice to be here on something new.
um, and I'll let, and she said this because Katz and Joshkin works on Josh Talks or other shows that
With extra, we work on a with extra happy, which is an Amorous podcast, which is on my Josh Talks YouTube channel.
yeah, so she's here to join us here on this Out of Element channel, and we're going to be talking about a few things, but mostly the feature this week, which was supposed to be last week. I'll let Josh explain that one. Um,
Someone died,
we
and
have
I'm
our
not
top.
joking.
Like I said, I'll let talk about that one. You didn't tell me that part.
Oh
You would have told me
shit!
that part. I
I
wouldn't even mention.
fucking oh god! Why didn't I say I don't know what I say sometimes.
Yes, you do. Um, but we got top 10 film flicks here. We got films that we consider ourselves popcorn films. These are not restricted to just movie theaters. There's some that we may have saw on television as television movies or television specials. But these are the kind of films that you don't really look for, the articulate style
Oh,
or educational style. You just want to watch something, whether it's just to see something explode or see something that's shocking, something that's going to make you eat your popcorn and drink your soda and just enjoy and have entertainment. What we're going to do is instead of just going around saying number one, number two, number three, we're just going to read out our list and explain why these films are on our list. That could be for any reason whatsoever. We're not going to try and sell you that this film you should go and watch this film, even though technically
I'm
we're
going
doing
to.
that. Josh is going to. And some films are going to be even more films you probably never heard of, films that you probably don't even remember, but has been considered to be a cult following in many ways. There are some films that was only released in the UK that you probably seen, or some TV series that you probably heard through the new age of new media, but never really have gotten an idea of what these films mean. So we're going to get a little bit of that. Before we go into this thing, Josh, how are you doing? How is Florida?
Florida is a steaming pile of humid shit, like always.
And how are you, Kat? How is the UK?
Over the past few days, over the past few days, it has been very, very hot, but it has cooled down, and I am not melting today, so that's an improvement.
So that's all good. All right. We're also going to be talking about King Arthur. Why they keep making this film, and why nobody should be surprised that they only made $14 million the first week, and will never reach the $175 million that it was projected. Now I don't know how much that is in the UK. I know their economy is a little bit different than us, but yeah, it's been bad. Plus, we'll be talking about certain films that's in the pipeline that you'd be surprised they're actually remaking, rebooting, or pretty much just making a sequel to begin with. There are films that's already been announced. Blade Runners, of course, is not a reboot but a sequel. We have The Dark Towers, and of course we have It that we'll talk about. But there are other films that actually just won't go away. So we're going to give a little feeling on these movies, including Sony's messing up. They don't like to have a good Spider-Man film, do they? They have something good in their plate, and they don't know how to to appreciate what Marvel has given them. They just want to mess it up. I don't know if you heard of but they're making a standalone movie of a particular
Venom.
character
Venom.
without Spider-Man.
That's like I'm not very well versed in the comics, but I do know that seems to be some connection between the two characters. So yeah, it's very odd to introduce Venom into a cinematic universe without Spider-Man. Like I don't really know the connection between the two characters, but it just seems really off.
It's almost impossible. Because do you remember Catwoman?
Mhm.
How did that turn out?
It was fun. I liked the movie, but
I enjoyed it, but
yeah,
then
I
I'm a
enjoyed
cat person, so what can I
I
say?
like I can agree
We got
that
two big fans that actually like the movie.
like I can agree on a technical angle. It was fucking bullshit. But if you turn it on, I'm going to watch and enjoy myself.
Mm.
And this is what we mean by popcorn films. It doesn't have to make any sense. It's just as long as it entertains you. I hate that movie, but it's not because of Halle Berry, which I think would have been a great Catwoman if given the right script.
Yeah, she
It was.
was.
It was the fact is that you took it out of. First of all, she wasn't Selena Kyle. That should have been the green light right there, saying, "Okay, you
You
just
mean
messed
red
up."
light, not green light?
No, it's green light. That's saying that you just went full frontal without
No,
stopping.
no, red light seems to be, a bad thing. Green's like, go ahead, this is awesome.
No, they went with this saying. Somebody said this is a good idea. We're gonna not make Selena Kyle. Patience Phillips. I'll never forget the name. And Sharon Stone with super makeup that makes your skin turn like marble, even though Catwoman scratched her face twice and she died because she fell, seeing her reflection. She fell, and I don't know what else to tell you.
It's just a beautiful thing to watch. You can, it's sort of how I enjoy Alien versus Predator. I just imagine that it's actually not in canon. Because because if you look at Alien versus Predator, it tries to connect it to the films, but as long as you think of, oh, this is not actually connected to the Alien series we know, it's actually a pretty enjoyable film. And so if you allow yourself to not really connect it to the rest of the Batman universe,
I can accept that argument that Alien versus Predator is not canon, even though they did have a comic book of this based on the series.
I think
But
before the movie, there was the Alien versus Predator thing that I didn't really look into, but I think it made a little more sense than the movie having xenomorphs on Earth. I mean, the original script, they had this whole setting in some colony, so it's.
hey, listen, I can live with. I didn't think Alien vs. Predator was that's bad. I thought the sequel was worse. But Catwoman wasn't even in the can. It just showed up and said, "Here, take it." But again, it is a popcorn flick, and this is why I say just because it may be bad for me, it may not be bad for others. So let's just get right straight to our popcorn flicks right now. I'm going to do it in specific order because I'm actually going to save our host for last because I'm actually curious of her list. Even though we know what it is, but it could change it varies from time to time. But I actually want to know why she likes them, what memory has, and everything else. Josh, I'm going to let you go second because I know you have an interesting list, and I know there's one actor that's going to continue to shake my head. But here's the thing: I want you guys to ask me questions as to why I like these movies as a popcorn film. I'm going to start with the first one. The one that got me into Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies to begin with. I watched him as a kid, but never really followed his films until I saw this film. And that is Total Recall, which I'm doing a flashback review, but I might as well give it right straight up to. Total Recall is what I consider to be, okay, if you're going to make an action film and it's not going to have a great story to back it up, give me something that is going to be high octane with action, thrills, and suspense. Let me stay glued to the television where I can, or in the big screen where I can watch this film. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he showed me why he is the master of these popcorn films, and he has a whole lot of them in his road gallery, but only very few that you can actually sit there and say bad story writing, probably some bad acting, but he makes it so much fun. Have you guys seen Total Recall?
I have.
Again, I saw. Cat.
I don't think I have, no.
Well, it basically is based on a short story. I think it's called "We Can Remember It's Wholesale." I know I
By
messed up.
Philip K. Dick. I remember Dick being in the author's name because I'm a child.
Yes, so, I'm glad you remember that part of the whole book.
No, you mean short story, where they never went to Mars. I've never read the short story myself yet.
It's a very interesting story. It's one of those stories that I'm kind of glad they deviate away from it. This is not the first time they've done it with short stories, but this one it works primarily because Arnold Schwarzenegger was the man, and he really showed just how good he can carry a film that, let's be honest, if anybody else played it, and the proof of that is that there was actually a sequel, which nobody remembers about it.
Well, there was a TV show thingy majig that was like I've seen the
Based on that
pilot.
sequel.
Yeah, I have watched the pilot of it. I got it in a collection of B movies from Walmart.
So, and like I said, I particularly think that this film really did want me to take a. First of all, it got me to take a second look at most of his films in the '80s, particularly Terminator and Conan and the Conan movies. And I always say to myself, this is the movie that really started me off because I have watched a lot of his films from that time. Some better than others. Like I will never forgive Kindergarten Cop. It will never be made to this day. But then you have Eraser. You have another film, True Lies. These are classic, typical Arnold Schwarzenegger popcorn film. So that's always on my list of being that great popcorn film that I always like. The next one is First Blood. First Blood is kind of weird because many people don't consider it as a popcorn film. I don't know how you feel about it.
I've never
It is.
seen it.
You never seen First Blood? Rambo. I'm shocked.
No.
No.
Listen, if you're going to be shocked at every classic movie I haven't seen, you're just going to go into a coma here.
You know what it is? I'm kind of curious on what you're going to show me. I don't know your list. Your list is going to be a surprise to everybody because I have not seen your list. You show me two movies that I
my list.
your list probably changes by daily.
Not really. Except number one's not going to be 2001 because that's not really an action movie.
They don't even know what that is. The director don't even know what kind of movie it is, so don't be bad.
I like it. Well, it's not an action movie because 99.9% is
It's dialogue.
or not dialogue. Nothing really like it's not action with blowing shit up, but it's an awesome movie. My fave of all time.
But this one is a film that is very weird. People don't want to put it as a popcorn film until the sequel came to play, and even the relaunch of Rambo, which was to me is the last chapter. I like this movie for a lot of reasons because it is a typical action film, but it also shows the range of Sylvester Stallone. Stallone don't give enough credit for being a screenwriter and an actor. Many people don't consider him to have the acting chops, and I say if you didn't see Rocky or even Creed, you don't know how good he is as a screenwriter or an actor in general. I think he really put his all in this film, and it's one of those movies that I actually cared for the character because again, you don't know if he's actually a good guy or a bad guy. In many ways, he's not a bad guy, but you can tell from the stress of war, for him coming home only not to become home to have these idiot cops bully him, corrupt him, abuse him to the point where he gets snapped. You're hoping that something good come out of this film. Here's a little tidbit. It's based on the original book where the character didn't survive.
And the character died.
Yes, and they changed that, and I'm kind of glad they did because they spawned a even better sequel, which is actually on my list. I'll explain later. And it really has on to something else, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But I actually like this movie, and it really, for the one thing is, this is one of the characters where although you don't approve of what he's doing, you, from a psychological level, you really was like, okay, this guy needs help. Somebody close to him who knows what he's going through will help him. And that's the one thing about it. It really kept me engaged. Is it the well-written movie? Probably not. But it did the stuff they did right. They did right, and this is probably one of the films I always want to go back to of an action film done right. Next up, Aliens. There's
Oh,
no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it.
game over, man. Game over.
Kat, have you seen Aliens? I don't think your speaker's on.
Yeah,
Have you
I've seen most of the Alien films. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now why I like this movie. One, let's just get to the first one and why it's not on my
sexy
list.
as hell. Sorry.
No, funny thing is, one is not on my list, which many people's gonna be upset. But there's a reason why one is not on my list, and two is, one was not considered an action film. It was actually considered horror suspense, and
At least they were smart enough to still call a horror movie a horror movie.
And to me, it was a slow pace where, even though I consider it good, I don't go back to the first film as much as I go back to the second one. The second one, everything just hit the fan. And this is why I was actually mad at Prometheus to an extent, because the one thing that Aliens did right, that Prometheus did done wrong, is you had characters you cared for. I didn't want to see these characters go. Every character in here really was. This was a 4-star film for me. That's how good this movie was. And I thought Sigourney Weaver was great in this film. I thought everybody was great in this film. Bill Paxton, the late Bill Paxton. I really did love the action, the pacing. They took this series into a whole new level. And sadly, after that, it never really came close to what the sequel has done. It had the perfect title. It had the perfect cast. To me, it was just a good, fun action suspense thrill ride that, to me, cemented the Alien franchise. You wouldn't have an Alien franchise if it wasn't for the sequel. Disagree or disagree, Johnson? I know you have a different take on the Aliens franchise. Might as well say it now.
What? I do agree that Aliens is a good movie. It was when James Cameron actually knew how to make a fucking movie, and it was popular enough to. It was a very good movie. I'm not going to say it doesn't deserve its place.
You said something that scares me, Josh.
What?
You said something about James Cameron, Josh. That scares me.
James Cameron was shit with Avatar. And Titanic was sort of meh. It was decent. But after Avatar, I'm like, you're not the same fucking director who did Aliens and The Abyss. You're not the same person who did that.
I think, to be fair, he's probably getting on a bit. I don't think we can really blame him for that.
I'm going to fucking blame him for Avatar, especially as it was made out to be this perfect film, especially by fans. I agree. I think that the fans were the main problem of making, this is a great film. And it's like, I saw it the first time and I was like, this is actually an enjoyable little film. It's not great, but it's sort of a May thing. And then people are all overhyping it. And once the hype got to a certain point, I'm like, I don't think we watched the same movie. This was a decent one.
I just really enjoyed the visuals.
Yeah, the visuals were good. I'll say that the one great thing about the movie was the visuals. The sad thing is that the plot didn't really fit, and I think Sam Worthington was
over and over again.
You can do a story you've done over and over again and somehow find some new meaning or find it enjoyable. This is not one of those cases.
No, Avatar's not on my list.
Good, or else I might have disowned you.
But I will say this. Out of all the 3D films that came out throughout the years, this was one of the best ones. I can give her that. But it was not, because this film was nominated for Best Picture. And for the life of me, I never understood why.
No, you can do some visuals and maybe some sound editing, but it's not really Best Picture material. Because the thing is, there's good bits and pieces of it, but overall it's...
Well, wait, now that I know why you don't like James Cameron right now, Kat, you said you watched all the Alien series. What's your feeling on Aliens, and do you agree it's a definite popcorn flick?
If it comes on TV, I will definitely sit down and watch it. But that's how I feel about most films anyway.
Uh huh.
um, yeah.
To me, I almost forgot that Ridley Scott didn't even direct the sequel, which just kind of makes me wonder if he actually is that good of a director for Aliens to begin with. But only
The
time will
first
tell.
Alien movie was not the same style as the sequel, but the build up, the tension, and even though you didn't see the xenomorph often, that presence was always felt. Like that
Mhm.
fear, I loved feeling that fear and that anticipation. And the fact that you're a
And and
close space where you can't, easily run away from. It was very good.
and then they ruined it. And then they ruined it with Aliens 3 and Aliens
Okay,
Resurrected.
I haven't really seen all of Alien 3. I've heard that there's some cut that makes it better, but I
And
haven't
it's
seen
not
that other
better.
cut. Decker Shadows, the alien guy, so I think he reviewed it with the Decker Shadow is also on Manic Expression, and I think he reviewed some other cut other than the theatrical cut in his review of the series. But I did like Alien Resurrection, even though it was, behind the scenes is why it turned out like crap. I still enjoy it.
Okay, here's my next movie. A movie that many people to this day don't even realize that Stephen King wrote this.
Okay, there we go.
Running Man.
I know he wrote it.
That's Richard something. I don't know what his other pen name is,
Richard
but
McPennane.
a man who wants to do sci-fi, but he couldn't because he was stuck on the Dark Tower Zone.
Well,
Um,
you can see in some of his books, the Tommyknockers, and even the Dark Towers series, that there is some hints of, sci-fi. He gets some sci-fi in every now and again.
I like this film for the simple fact is it was just one of those movies. It really drew on that post-apocalyptic style action films that was coming out. Of course, many people will always say the Running Man is the not the Running Man. The Blade Runner is the best of the best. Again, I have to see
Oh,
Blade Runner again.
here's the pen name, Richard Bachman.
Okay, Stephen King sounds better. All right,
Your
I was
face
on.
sounds
That's why I
better.
can remember. Um, it's a film that when I saw it, I said, okay, this has this feeling of. Why did I keep thinking about Stephen King? And then I looked at it and said, oh, that's because he actually did wrote it. And I'm saying, wait, he wrote sci-fi? And then I said, yeah, and realized he did a lot of the sci-fi stuff in there. But this was the one that stand out the most to me. And again, Arnold Schwarzenegger being what he was the real draw of this film, especially how he just basically said, okay, you want to try and take me out? I'm going to take you out first. I enjoyed the movie. It's not the best of all the Arnold Schwarzenegger films that I've seen, but it's definitely the most entertaining and fun. And again, on TV, I'll watch it, no problem. Um, you seen The Running Man, Josh, or have you? Or you
I've
don't know?
seen
No,
parts of it.
didn't interest you too much.
No,
You only seen parts.
No, I don't know why I didn't watch all of it, but it's Stephen King, so I want to see it, and yeah, I just haven't yet.
Kat, did you seen it?
I'm trying to figure out whether it's the one that I'm thinking of correctly, because I might have like 3 different Arnie films in my head at once. Is that the one with the maze that you had to survive, or is that a different one?
Yeah, that's the one with the maze.
Ah, right, yes, then I have seen it. I've only seen it once, and that was a few years ago. It was just on TV, so I just stuck with it.
Yes, that's young Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I did
Yeah,
enjoy it though. I think I was confused, but I think that it kept me engaged enough that I enjoyed it. Just from the
You know, it's funny because you've got the same feeling that I was. I was saying because I seen this as a kid. I haven't seen this God knows how long, but it's still ingrained in me. It's one of my favorite films that I can sip soda in. This is one thing about that whole genre because it's an action genre, but it's apocalyptic action genre,
Yeah.
and it can be confusing. It really is because you think it's one thing is happening, and then it's a whole different thing, completely. But that's the whole thing about it. And honestly, I did a couple of those films, not as much surprisingly as Mel Gibson, which none of the Mad Max films are on my list, sadly. I know people saying, but I didn't see Mad Max 1.
The only
The
real.
one
Oh, continue. Sorry, it's your turn.
like I said, to me, Mad Max was just, I didn't have any appeal to it. And I didn't like Beyond Thunderdome at all with Tina Turner. I don't know what they were thinking when they cast her, but that's just my opinion.
I've just seen a little bit of Beyond Thunderdome, and I liked her performance.
I don't know. I still see what's love got to do with it when I see her. I see her as a singer, not much of an actress. That's just my opinion. None against her. I think she's great. But next on my list is a film I'm pretty sure you did not see at all, and you probably just be the first time you guys heard of it. Action Jackson.
Ooh.
Fuck.
What is that?
You have
it's
Carl
like.
Weathers.
Oh, continue.
Carl Weathers is in this movie. This film, me and my friend at the time was watching. This is a film that didn't start off fast, and the only reason why we watched this movie is because Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed, was in this film. And this was the first time we actually seen Carl Weathers in anything other than Rocky. We always see him as Apollo. So we're like, oh, Apollo's in this film, and he's supposed to play this cop. And this film is a typical action film where they had the most ridiculous scenes of all. He did a Hulk Hogan where he was getting beat up. Next thing you know, he's getting mad, and he started fighting other people. He gets shot, and he's almost like it's nothing. Oh, I got shot in the arm. That's it. Like this dumb stuff. I mean, it's just typical '80s stupidity. The best scene in this movie was when he was beating up somebody, threw him out the window. You see him flying out the window to go to the other window on the other side, right next to the street. I'm like, oh, this is new. It's a typical what you expect from an '80s film: good guy versus bad guy, cops and robbers. It's just a fun film, but it's one of those films that you have to watch it the first time. It's a cult classic film. It's not the well-written film. It's typical action film, but it's so entertaining in a way that if it's on television again, I'm watching it because it's just I know it makes it entertaining. Here's a little tip, Kat. I'm gonna let you know. Anytime when you hear music where it had nothing but a horn and drums and it was set in the '80s, it's mostly action and it's mostly going to be nothing more than cheesy, crazy fun. Don't expect high drama. Don't expect anything to understand. I still don't know what the plot was, and I watched that film 3 times.
Basically, me watching Tron. Then just watch the plot of this.
What's going on? They're inside a computer. What the? And I guess
I
they're
like
battling.
the visuals, but what the hell's happening?
I mean, it's the one of those films like it's like you just watch it, it's like, yeah, this is great. So what was it all about?
I have fucking.
That's a good looking question, but it was still good.
I mean, you should just be saying shit like that for movies like Eraserhead, which I have not been, which I never actually got to finishing, not because I didn't want to finish, but because Mom, who I was watching it with, decided to take a break and never finish it up. And the last scene I watched was when these are chickens, like they came out of the oven, so you're not actual real life chickens, start dancing. Like
what?
that. It doesn't make sense in context of Eraserhead. Eraserhead,
This
and
was Eraserhead?
Yeah, Eraserhead. Yeah, they're dancing little chicken things. It's like it doesn't make sense in context. So don't worry if you're going what the fuck and like. If I watch the movie, maybe I'll know. Maybe I won't know what the fuck. I want to finish it.
I can see why. I mean, just to see how much tripping is going to be going on.
And I've heard it only fucking gets weirder.
I haven't seen Eraserhead, so some film. Just a name alone, I never really got intrigued a little bit. I might want to check it out because it is one of those films that movie historians always talk about.
Yeah, that's another reason I want to. But one of the reasons I want to see it is it's talked about, by people that critique movies. But another reason is, how can it be weirder than the fucking chicken dancing scene?
All right, so you got me some reason to look forward to.
I'm so sorry in advance.
This is going to be a little bit cheating, but I have to put this on this list because it's on my computer as I speak. I refuse to even delete it because every now and then I will go back to this film and I'll explain why it's on my list. Even though it's not technically an action film, but it is one of the best zombie films. This is my personal zombie films. Before Walking Dead, before Dead and Loving It, before whatever other film that they came out and ruined the zombie franchise. This film made me into a Living Dead fan. Not the Night of the Living Dead. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I like Night of the Living Dead, but I thought it was also boring at the same time. This film was nothing but boring. That is Return of the Living Dead. I saw this when I was little. I saw this again when I was in my preteens. This film is controversial. But this film is also so much fun. You forget how cheaply made this film was. And here's a little bit of interesting news. This was supposed to be the sequel to Night of the Living Dead. And what happened was the producers, George A. Romero, another guy who had the rights to this film, decided it was just best to not conclude it as part of the films. So they became its own thing. The reason why it was called The Return of the Living Dead, it was supposed to mimic that sequel, supposed to be a direct sequel. But George Romero kept the rights to one half of his franchise and did a trilogy there. And we had The Return of the Living Dead, which is actually considered a horror comedy. Now, if you're looking for stereotype actors, you got it. You have the girl who should not be with this group. You have the stereotypical black guy, which ironically actually survived all the way to the end when everybody died in the movie. You had what you considered to be at the time terrible teen, even though they're supposed to be 35 years old, acting. But the only difference with this film is that as the film progresses, it gotten better, where you actually care for the characters. They really care for each other. It actually had a good punk rock feel to it, because of the music. But most importantly, unlike George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, where they didn't look like zombies, but guys were just bad makeup and just basically was in the sun too long. These guys looked like zombies, and they didn't walk. They ran after you. And they could not be stopped.
Oh boy.
No matter what you do to them, they could not be stopped. And I'm like, okay, now we're getting into this. Now we're getting into some good
the comedies. I actually think I've seen this one. Like, it took me a moment to go, wait, this is comedy, sort of a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. This really fucking seems like I had seen it. I think if this is the movie I'm thinking of, where, because it is a comedy. I don't know if things are running, but I saw a little bit when I was a kid. I got scared, went to the other room. I watched it as an adult and had no problem. And Revs loves it. If I'm thinking the same damn thing.
Was deemed very controversial because of one reason, one scene, and it was a girl dancing in front of a tomb.
Oh, this is the one.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely fucking sounds like the one. Because I know, like, there were these fucking goth kids in the goddamn graveyard. And
yes.
Okay, we're on the scene. It took me a moment.
It was the most controversial scene that there's two versions of the movie because of that one scene. Because what they did in the other version, they actually gave her a special cap, a special mold to cover the private parts, even though that did not work, because you still saw what you saw right there. It was like, did we just see what we just see, even though it was brief? in the time of the 80s, if a film showed that, it was rated X. This film got away with it with an R rating. And they still changed it with that. But it was very, very controversial to a music that actually is still considered a classic. Tonight We Made Love Till We Die is still considered a punk rock classic. But it went from, okay, this is typical stereotypical slasher film where you don't know what's really going on, to actually being one of the greatest zombie films ever made, to the point where a lot of people consider that there has been no match to what this film has done. One, it didn't take itself too seriously. Two, it was actually very well paced. This film is only like 79 minutes long, and it feels like it should have been longer. That's how
it was a good one. Like, I remember when I watched it as a kid, the point when the gas is released and like a dead dog that's just starts barking.
Yes,
I fucking lost my shit and just left the room. I have gone a long way since.
Now, Kat, you've been silent the whole time. I take it that you have not seen this movie.
Nope, I have not seen anything of this series.
Well, they have 4 of these films, and I can tell you right now, just see the first one. Don't even bother with the second one. The second one is a total disgrace. Third one was okay, and then you got the 4th one from Johnson's favorite sci-fi channel. They made 2 more on their channel by themselves. I haven't seen them. I'm not planning to see them. But the first one is definitely the best one. And it's hard to believe. I won't know how much I would have had a feeling with if they actually would have stuck with the original plan of making the Return of the Living Dead the actual sequel of Night of the Living Dead. It would have been kind of weird. And to say that this film, you had a serious film that really did not have much of a budget, didn't have much of anything, yet became the standard for horror films in terms of zombies. Which, by the way, can we make the correction? This was not the first zombie film that came out. The George A. Romero was not the father of the zombie films. If you want to be honest, The Last Man on Earth was actually a zombie film, even though they say, no, that's vampires. No, that's zombies. Because they didn't mention anything about vampires in that whole entire film until pretty much the last moment.
Yeah, well, vampires then.
Yeah, so to me, this was my personal zombie film. I actually loved it. It's fun. It's a popcorn film. If I get a chance, I put it on every time. And surprisingly, the acting, even though it was stereotypical in the beginning, the dialogue was just cringeworthy because nobody talks like that. I don't care what teenager you are. As they got along, you can actually feel the connection that these characters have. And that's something that says a lot. The only other horror film on slasher film, because slasher films do tend to get a bad rap thanks to Jason. I gotta throw him out there.
Sorry, whenever now I hear Jason, for those of you who've seen Let's Play or played the game of Heavy Rain,
Jason!
Jason!
Is it a video game?
No, it's a Heavy Rain. In the the first chapter, like this father loses his son in the mall, and so he's calling after his son with the worst fucking voice acting imaginable. Take it away, Cat. Dude.
Jason!
I got to take a look at this. It can't be any worse than Resident Evil. Because that really didn't have great acting either. I still remember Jibble Sandwich as a part of the dialogue.
I haven't done any of the Resident Evil games. Like, I've watched a few videos about them, but I don't really care. And I've seen more of the movies, which are fun popcorn action flicks, really.
For you, yes. For me, it was.
But from what I've heard of the small voice acting, yeah, it's terrible. But there's something about the Jason thing that is.
Jason!
It's definitely up there. If it's not better, it's definitely gives Resident Evil a run for its money.
Let's get on my next list
My next list. Take me away from these people.
My next list is one of those films where either you like it as it is or you hate it as it is. Uh, and again, many people debate because this film was so controversial. Now we look at it as tame compared to other films we have. I think it's on one of you guys' list. I'm not too sure. RoboCop.
Uh-huh.
RoboCop is a popcorn film, but it is a psychological nightmare for those who just seen it for the first time. This is not for kids. I'm letting you know right now. This film is crazy. I can't believe this film got an R just on that alone. But my goodness, and I was even more shocked that the critics loved it like they did. It's one of those. It should have been just one film and not three RoboCop films or seven if you count not the cartoon, the sci-fi films and Josh White. Yeah, it was a cartoon.
And video
Okay,
game.
It was a cartoon. RoboCop had 5 sequels, a live-action TV series, and a cartoon series.
I knew it had a TV series, but not a cartoon series.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay then. I will look that later.
and that was a sign they should have just left RoboCop alone because the first one, you're not beating the first one. The first one, where they push the envelope hard with this movie. They really did. I mean, they just literally. I mean, they didn't just push the envelope. They just said, "We want to see how far we can go without getting the X." Because I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I was in my early teens when I finally saw this film uncut, and I'm like, "Okay, what are they gonna do? They're gonna just intimidate the guy?" And they shot his arm completely. I mean, they didn't just shot his arm; they shot his arm off. And I'm like,
They shot him to
Did
bloody
they just-
pieces.
I'm like, what did I just watch? I mean, there were limbs falling all over the place. I mean, I'm like, did I? And I'm watching a war film. I can't believe they just showed that because again, even with R-rated films, they didn't show that. This was not considered gore. This was considered action. You might have called this a horror film because it was just ridiculous how much violence they showed. The scene that gave me nightmares, and it's very rare that a non-horror film gave me nightmares, was when the guy got acid thrown, because he crashed his truck. He was trying to run over RoboCop, and he crashed his truck into this tank of acid. And seeing him come out like that, I said, "Oh my God!" The first thing came to my head was, why was this even in the open? And two, RoboCop just end his life because he end his suffering because he's melting, and he gets hit by a car, and all you saw was this. It was nothing. He was like, he was just completely gone. He was just busting to pieces, and I'm like, again, how is this rated R? I mean, it was crazy. This was the most at that time the most violent. And Josh, why? Can I see your face, please, Josh?
No, because I have my head off, and on this podcast I can't show the top of my head.
Okay, please. Nobody gonna worry about your hat.
I'm with extra happy and fine without the hat, but this is different. I have a sale to go for.
Well, anyway.
Don't worry, my head will cool down after a minute or two, and I'll be back on air.
RoboCop was a film that had shock. It was just a shocking action film that you eat your popcorn for the first 10 minutes and then you just stop and be like open mouth as to what did I just watch? It pushed the envelope that no other film, I believe, never pushed before. And the only movies that's been pushing that envelope really is R-rated war films. War films are thanks to Saving Private Ryan. But this film really did stun me in many ways in terms of its action, in terms of the apocalyptic style that this was, how they depict Detroit, which surprisingly wasn't too fast to reality that we're dealing with now. It just wasn't a surprisingly well-written action film that really pushed the R envelope the way an R film had never been pushed before, and had never done since. If anything, action films, at least until the coming of Deadpool and Logan, has been pushed back. They've been trying to make it more kid friendly. This was not a kid friendly film. And the fact that they actually tried to make it kid friendly while they were selling action figures with the first film really showed you how much they really just didn't get what RoboCop was. But this one, out there. Josh, have you seen this movie?
No, I actually haven't.
I'm going to leave the cat alone because I know she probably had that on the list since you said you didn't see it. I like to hear what she had to say about this. But yeah, that's definitely one of my on my list right there because it's wow. If you want to see non-stop violence and nonsensical sexual things going on, this is one of the films. Which is, by the way, why RoboCop the remake, although not bad, but should never have been made because they made it they downplayed it, and at least with the first RoboCop, I think you can agree with me, Kat. Detroit was messed up. You needed RoboCop at that point.
I've not seen the remake, but Dad said that he saw it like the day after I watched the original film, and he hadn't saved it, and he said that he enjoyed it.
Like I said, it's not terrible, but it missed that grit that the first one has.
Okay.
The same thing with Total Recall, which they remade and nothing to do with Mars. It's strange because certain actors and certain time period and grit makes the film more credible than the remake itself, where they seem to miss that thing. But that's a different story for a different time.
It was a good remake that deserves so much more.
Oh yes.
But sorry, I'm just gonna. If I start talking about that now, I'm not gonna shut up probably for 3 minutes because it has two of my favorite actors, Lena Headey and Carl Urban.
And you just was very unhappy.
I would have loved a fucking sequel. I mean, because things were done so goddamn well.
Ed, I'm gonna just go right straight because I know we're pressed for time. If I gotta put anything that is a hallmark of popcorn film, I mentioned in the flashback review, Commando. That's what else can I say? It's a ridiculously fun film to watch. Anytime when you can make mall cop important to a film, you done something right. I'm sorry. I mean, that was the most hilarious part of the film, and it became an action standard because I've seen it with Death Wish, I've seen it with Indiana Jones even, and you see it with Commando. Bad guys don't know how to shoot.
Stormtroopers.
They like to shoot on the ground. You see them to shoot the ground. Well, there's actually a debunking on that, and we'll talk about that if you want to. But there's been a debunking about the stormtroopers, which you probably won't agree with, but we'll talk about that.
I probably heard about so.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is invisible in the situation. The word commando didn't come into the last act of the film, and what makes it so funny, I always laugh at this scene because it's just hilarious. When he's getting himself ready, he's putting his gear on, which came out of thin air. I never seen him have these gears before. He's putting on his artillery, and they had that pose with this smoke, with the most worst action song I ever hear, with the horn and everything else. And you're like, okay, where's the smoke coming from? Because he didn't do anything yet. He just put on some clothes, barely any clothes, and put some gun bullets in his strap in his shoulder, and that's it. But once he did, it was hammer time because he just went full action-packed frontal of the film. It had the most craziest lines. One of the best ones I like is when he's hanging the guy upside down and said, "Remember when I said I'll kill you last?" And he said, "Yes, I lied." And he just dropped him to.
I have not seen the entire movie, but I have definitely seen a clip of that scene.
It's hilarious. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is great for puns and great, minus the Batman Robin movie, but he's great for those kind of things because he makes bad script look good. And that's probably one of the reasons why you're never going to see a remake of Commando, because you can't copy that. The fans won't allow it. Kat, you seen Commando or heard of it?
No.
See, simple as that.
Sorry.
Nope.
There have
Simple as
been
that.
some classic lines that come from the movie, so that you might have heard the lines but not know where they came from.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
always a possibility.
again, Commando is one of those films. Of course, there's a whole lot of film that I have in there. True Lies was another film I actually like because it made fun of the spy genre and how ridiculous it is. Like more serious film. Point of No Return is one of my personal favorites. Um, I didn't put Terminator because I consider that just Terminator 2, especially at class by themselves. But you can also consider that a popcorn film. Um, to me, most of my popcorn films are from the 80s because, again, when I see films now that consider popcorn films, they don't have much of the same holding power as it is. Like, for instance, I love Die Hard. It's definitely a popcorn film. And the reason why is this is the first character, this is the first hero that got hurt. I know that sounds crazy, but this character, you're just like, my goodness, how is he? How you gonna survive? How you gonna beat the bad guy? He's getting beat up left and right. Yeah, he pulls it off. That is so memorable. Then it's a good day to die hard, where it was just a cartoon of his former self. But that's why I like some of the 80s and 90s because even though they were ridiculous and make no sense when you have one hero, especially with Charles Bronson movies, where you got the heroes shooting at him, hitting the floor, and you have Charles Bronson have this gun that doesn't run out of bullets. That's just a memorable moment for me. Man, you have a 12 shooter. You shot 28 shots. You haven't reloaded yet. What are you doing? But that's some of my just one of many lists of the films. Josh, again, I am curious. I know one thing about your list.
That it
Your
doesn't
list will
exist yet?
have no. Your list gonna have one character, one actor. I won't be surprised if 80% of your list has this one actor in it. Liam Neeson will be in that list.
Liam Neeson is going to be on the list. Yes.
All right, so I'm not just gonna sit back and hear you give me a reason why your action films or popcorn films in this is that you picked because I'm curious.
Okay, are you going for cat or me? Can I hide in the
Going for you
background?
first. Cat's gonna be. I'm saving Cat for last because her list is unique.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. I like when I'm last because then I can be lazy and, I just hate myself. So
You're not allowed to be lazy this time, mate.
fuck. It's hard to be lazy when it's only two people doing a podcast. Easier when you have a larger crowd and you just hang back and see, I'm participating. Oh, good. Okay.
You have to actually participate today.
I hate it. I hate it. But anyways, my actual list will be forming at random, except for the first two. These are in no specific order. They're just there. Like if I had actually planned this out, there would be an actual order, but in this case, it's random, and let's see if I can waste all my time. And first one I will mention is Taken with Liam Neeson. Only counting the first movie because the two sequels were extremely unnecessary. The second movie just, besides being basically a rehash, it was too short. Even with the extended unrated version, it was just too damn short. It's sort of like you're rushing and you hit a brick wall. The third one did take the series in a nice direction, but it was too little, too late. Why
my question, besides the fact that I want to know why you liked this one as a popcorn film, have you seen the TV show yet? The prequel.
TV show?
It's a prequel, yeah, the TV show. Shows how he became the agent that he came to be.
Oh, you mean something I don't give a shit about?
Okay, you didn't see the show.
No, I saw the trailer. I actually wrote a post on my blog, JashikInStatBlogspot, about a little bit about it and why basically I don't give a shit.
I'll give you my feeling on this. It's not as terrible as Lethal Weapon, the TV show, or the 5 episodes and done Rush Hour. It ain't as bad as those two.
The main reason why I'm not interested in the TV show is it should stay to one movie. And it's also the fact that Liam Neeson's not in there. And I actually only watched the sequels, horrible as they were, saw both in theaters, horrible as I knew they were going to be, because Liam Neeson was in it. So,
All right. So
without
what was so good about Taken that you consider this to be a popcorn flick you go back to? Besides Liam Neeson, of course.
Oh, it's one of my sexy dream guys. It's the fact that it's a very action film where, Liam Neeson just rams in and takes names, and it's almost like a godlike force going through. And there's also an emotional element of Liam Neeson's feeling for his daughter. How far he'll go, how much he cares for her, how much he'll do. And that it has a very good emotional impact, as well as being a very heavy action-oriented film.
Now, were you surprised? Because I always want to ask, especially with those who love the film, were you surprised that it was PG-13 and not R?
At least they released like an unrated version, because that unrated version should have been in theaters, to begin with. Because it works better as an R-rated film, because while without it being, as extreme, it still has the emotional impact which you can go on to. The other angle of it just being this action film is sort of diminished when you diminish how much of the action you can actually show.
Okay, it was interesting.
I don't know why it's R-rated. It should have been started as R-rated.
Because let's keep in mind, this was a sex trade that he was fighting against. Not really meant for kids' eyes to see, but
yeah, like
again,
why would I mean, there's when Deadpool was about to come out, it's like, oh, think of the children. What about the children who read the comics and play the games? It's like, fuck that shit. This is for adult rated. I mean, if adults want to get the movie at home and then, watch it with the kids to explain things, sure, go ahead. But you shouldn't be, censoring things just because, oh no, think of the children who shouldn't be watching this shit anyways, according to society. Woo! Of course, my views on how much sex and violence can be shown to kids might be a little controversial on its own, but I'll be going by standards set by, movie ratings and, my actual personal. It's like, my personal thing is that as long as parents explain to their kids about things like, this is just fiction, this is real, then that should be okay. Because kids will fucking view shit they're not supposed to anyways.
I got you started on something else. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, you can never really tell with me. Even me, I can't tell when I'll suddenly go into rant mode and not be able to shut up.
You really did want this film to be R. She's like, I did, yeah.
And then censoring itself is, another ranting that I'll shut up about now.
So what's your next film?
John Wick, and this time John Wick chapter, the first and second film, since there's actually a point of there being a second film and actually fits and doesn't seem like another cash grab.
Now, I didn't see this film. How good is Keanu Reeves in this movie?
Oh my fucking god, you need to see it. What the... It's not just
I've seen pieces of it. That don't count.
I know, the thing is, it's not just how good he acts or fights, it's the fact that finally we get a goddamn action scene that's not cut to fucking pieces, so we get to actually see instead of having to fill in the blanks. Which, after seeing the John Wick movies, I'm a lot actually harsher on fight scenes in movies. Like, I can more easily pick up the cuts when before I would just let it go. Like, it's okay.
Now, is it, to your opinion, is John Wick Chapter 1 and 2 better than the Matrix trilogy right now? In terms of fighting, in terms of script structure? Because a lot of people seem to be in love with John Wick, and I'm like, wow, a fan base for this.
Like Taken having a strong action point, this one does have a strong emotional point. In the first John Wick movie, his wife died and left him a little dog. So the dog represented his wife. No, and some guys, one of them played by the same actor who does Theon Greyjoy, who also plays in this film a son that disappoints his father. It's like they kill his dog. This representation of his wife. And if you want to not look at that.
Wait a minute. So let me get straight. He went on a vengeful spree because his dog died?
Well, the dog that represented his wife. But yeah, I do also like, taking away that symbolism and just thinking, yeah, a revenge story about a dog. Like, without the deeper symbolism, that's what it is. And that's amusing to me because I love pets.
That kind of plot reminded me of a film that I actually left off this list because I didn't know what I thought about this film. And I can't remember the freaking title of this movie, but I know Mr. Owens played in this film. It started off with him protecting this kid from a mother who gave birth and died. And all while was just him shooting everything. And I can't remember the movie title. Remember the film, but can't remember the title. You're telling me this guy did all that action fight? And again, I didn't see the film. A piece of it. You mean to tell me he did all this because they killed not his best friend, not his mother, not his wife, but his dog?
No, the dog. No. Listen, the dog was the last gift that his wife gave him. So when someone you love gives you something, you really treasure that as more than whatever it is. Like that Eevee back there. That's more than just the most adorable, cute thing. That. Well, there's a big Eevee plushie back there, and it isn't just the plushie, it's the fact that Revs got it for me on our anniversary. Spend so much time and effort. So that's more than just a plushie to me, such as the dog was much more than a dog to John Wick.
All right, Kat, what do you think about this? Kind of speechless.
I've been very politely sitting and listening to you two. I don't have any opinion because I haven't seen these films.
Oh yeah, it's good, and the second movie does connect to the first one in that all the John Wick, it used to be this merciless assassin, like really fucking badass dude, and so he went into retirement because he fell in love with his wife. And so in the second movie, after all this shit's gone down, it turns out that because he, started to do his thing again, it had alerted someone that had helped him go into retirement, long story short. And so this guy, it was like, okay, now you have to do this thing for me because, basically the guy was coming in for a debt. Like, okay, now you have to pay me back and do this thing. And so shit goes down in the second movie because of the events from the first movie.
So I take it this person is Lawrence Fishburne.
No, but Lawrence Fishburne does make a cameo in the sequel, but, he's not the guy that I mentioned.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was amusing when Lawrence Fishburne and
I thought he was a major role in that film, but
it was a cameo, and there's a few lines that, like, haha, I can see. Yeah. Like in the first movie, there's references to Keanu Reeves going back into action movies. Like, there's a few lines there that can be read as just lines or little Easter eggs.
Keanu Reeves wants to do another Bill and Ted, so if he's going back to action film, he better choose wisely because there has been rumor of him going back to Bill and Ted. There's going
to be a third John Wick movie that will pick up from I've heard will pick up from the end of the second movie, and the second movie does end on a little cliffhanger too, where you go, what's going to happen?
Well, I'm glad he's doing it. He's going back to action film. I think that he I think he's been getting a lot of bad rap in terms because everybody thinks he's. I think I put it this way: he's great in action films and roles that reflects his personality and style. Like I think people always said that Will Smith would have done a great job at the Matrix. I'm not too sure that's the case because I think what he brought to the table, that expressionless tone that he had brought in it, fit the movie perfectly with him. Will Smith can't do that. He'll try to be over dramatic, and I think the thing with Keanu Reeves is that I like when he does film that he's more in tune with his acting style. Is when he tries to be over dramatic. Is when you don't see him at his best. Case in point, he starred in the Shakespearean movie. My God,
Oh
did he
wait,
overtry?
what? What? Oh God, I just don't see that working out at all.
Yeah, he was with Denzel Washington. He played his brother. We'll talk about that later.
We won't. We won't.
And he was in Ben Stoker's Dracula, which I loved the film, but I'd be lying to you say he was good in it. I mean, it just was not it. But I'm glad he's doing action films. I think he's good in it. Wish he would have done a remake for Point Break or a sequel to it because I think that it needed his style. But I'm actually interested because you did put John Wick in there, and it's not that old of a series, so I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It is.
What else? What else?
Okay, this is the point when the list is going to be forming at random, so not sorry. Sharknado movies. Those are definite popcorn flicks. You don't watch those movies for the great acting or the plot that's just so intricate you have to delve over. You go because there's tornadoes made of fucking sharks.
Do you
And
hear
it's
this, Cat?
so
You hear this? Have you seen this?
Nope.
oh,
I'm very happy you didn't. But
no,
go ahead.
it is so goddamn amusing. The only thing I'm sort of sad about as the series continued is that they used horrible stock footage in the first movie, and that's sort of something I actually love in B movies, like just horrible stock footage that definitely doesn't match. So I was sort of wishing that would continue, but they didn't.
And the strange part about it is that this is considered to be a massive success because Asylum made this film, and if you don't know what Asylum is, they have a tendency to rip off other films. Like instead of Transformers, it's Transmorphers.
The Terminators.
You have
Yeah,
it is they can make a film. What takes 2 years to make, they make in 2 months,
and you can definitely tell.
and they're making money. That's how sad this is. I don't know if you heard of Asylum, Cat, but if you do, you should at least check it out for curiosity because you'd be amazed.
No, Jockerly, you know Curiosity killed the cat.
This will make you smile. No,
Sorry.
this will make you smile. You'll be looking at this and say, "Wow, they made money off of this because they make it very cheap." I mean, they got snakes on a train. That's all you need to know about that's how much you know that they're just copying and pasting the same thing, just with actors who need a job.
Oh, good. With the Terminators, it was, horrible, and basically the whole thing of evil robots is resolved by going up to a space station that looks like the one from 2001: A Space Odyssey and turning off the switch. But what I liked about it is actually there's this one guy, doesn't have that very many lines, but just exudes this presence of being, a machine. That is just very nice to see him act like a badass.
In short, don't expect any big action, big budget on this movie. They never had, never will.
$5 for them.
Yeah, they're making lots of money and they're still doing good. So, who am I to judge? What else is on your list?
Real film company?
Yeah, they are.
They're a real company.
Yeah,
they're Asylum.
Yeah, they make a TV series I still need to catch up with. Just have 2 more episodes to catch up with called Z Nation. That's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I actually started watching because DJ Qualls was in it, and I just wanted to see, more of his acting. So.
Whenever you get a chance, Just Google Asylum Productions. You'll see it, and there's actually a documentary on how they succeed. How they success. They what they do is they wait about a month or two after the film is successful, and then they make a film mocking that film.
Yeah.
Takes them 2 months to do it,
Yeah, they call
and
them mockbusters. That's the term.
yeah, because they got sued 4 times. They had to change the name of the film. One of the best films they made, and I've seen the movie, and actually, surprisingly, is actually pretty good. It's shocking to say that. It's
when we have to say that for the asylum.
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, but I know exactly what you're talking about. So continue.
It's actually it's actually a pretty fun film. It's not bad. I wish they would do other film like that. Is they know what they're doing, but Asylum has a very interesting history. The one film they almost got sued in was when they did the day the Earth stood still, and they didn't even try. They almost didn't try. They said the day the Earth stops. Wow, you just ain't trying no more, ain't you? We just not even gonna try.
Oh god, it was great. Talking about lazy titles, the Terminators. Like, Mom got it thinking, oh, maybe it's a part of the Terminator series, and it's like, no. No, it's not. But I still watched it, and the sad thing is, the disc started to glitch out, so I know I won't be able to watch it a second time.
Oh well, you got your first taste experience. But like I said, just look that up, and you'd be surprised at what you see. What's next on your list?
Oh god, this is where it's really fucking going into. Goddamn, okay, just fuck. Oh, well, I've mentioned the Resident Evil movies before, so I guess I'll put that on my list just so we have something to talk about. You're the only one.
You're the only one that loved it, so I'm going to let you talk.
No, let me explain. For one, I haven't seen all the movies all the way through. I mean, the only reason I'm even interested in seeing the latest movie, which I didn't see in theaters because even, I guess, people who liked the movie were like, the editing, the cuts were just too horrible. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait. But the only reason I'm interested in that film is because Ian Glenn, who plays Dr. Isaacs in the films and who also plays Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones, is really hot, and he has a bigger role in it, so that's really the only reason I'm interested. But I don't really have any knowledge of the games, so I don't really have that to burden me with. Plus, it's like it's enjoyable to watch. I mean, it's not good on a technical angle. I mean, it's not. God, like, the plot points change. Like, in the second movie, it's revealed that the T virus came from this father having a cure for his daughter, and that daughter was the basis for the lookalike of the Red Queen. But in the latest movie, I've heard that's been changed to the T virus being created to slow down this one disease a girl has that makes her age faster, and she's the basis of the Red Queen. So it's like major plot points are fucking changed between movies. So on a technical level, it's not good. If you can't follow your series in a logical manner, it's not gonna. But it's fucking fun to watch. If it's on, I'm going to see it. So
have you seen the Resident Evil's, Cat?
I think I've seen one of them. It was the one that came out in 3D. I went and saw it with my then boyfriend. I don't remember understanding it, but I do.
That's not bad. Trust me.
I actually had to explain to her that, yeah, the reason you didn't understand it because it really has nothing to do with the games.
And I barely know the games, but my friend is teaching me.
The 3D one you saw was the one where they were stuck inside a prison, I believe. That was the one I remember in
I
3D.
think,
No,
yeah.
I remember
it
the.
being very, very bright and whitish. That's all that I remember. And then there was like the dog with its head splitting open or something.
That
That's
was
all
the
I can
third
remember.
movie. That was the third movie. I know
I
because
don't know
Ian
what I
Glen's
saw
in
then.
with a bigger part.
Ow.
I don't remember that third one being on 3D, and I hated the third film.
I remember the dogs play. Oh wait, it was the fourth one. It was the fourth one.
Yes, the
Fourth
fourth
one.
one. Because
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the zombie dogs from the beginning of Resident Evil 3 and confusing that with the
you know what
zombie
was
dogs.
more insulting about that Resident Evil movie? That was the fourth one. Besides barely having any zombies in the movie, it was they took the actor who played in Prison Break and made him Chris Redfield.
I know. I when I read
Oh,
that, I was
him!
just like, that is fucking great.
I mean, you just gave me Prison Break. That's all
With
you did.
zombies.
This is Prison Break.
If that's who I'm thinking of, I know him from Dinotopia. That's what I know him from.
I don't think I really saw the TV adaptation of Dinotopia, though I read 2 of the books when I was a kid over and over again.
You got me. I think I heard of Dinotopia. I just didn't try to see it. I think it was one of those things that it's like a Lost of the World type thing. Is that what that is? Nobody's answering? Okay.
Well, I've only recently picked 2 of the books up because they appeared in the shop that I work in. So I just grabbed them because it was Christmas and I really wanted my Dinotopia books. But I did grow up with the TV show and basically these 2 brothers get sort of shipwrecked on this island where dinosaurs are alive and dinosaurs and humans all live together and yeah.
You sure this ain't the Flintstones?
What?
You sure this ain't the Flintstones?
This is the TV series of Dinotopia.
No, it's
so
the Flintstones
I know.
was a TV series, and it's a bad joke. That's why I wanted to explain. It's a bad joke.
I'm trying to picture this in my mind. That I can't see T-Rex sitting down in a human's house
Yeah, the
drinking tea.
T-Rex are evil. We stay away from the T-Rexes. It's usually like all the brachiosaurs and the Parasaurolophus.
Oh, so T-Rex is a bad rap. All right.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Jurassic Park. T-Rex don't care. He don't discriminate.
You don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't Dinotopia either.
I gotta check that out. It got me curious though. Dinotopia, probably on YouTube somewhere. What's next on your list, Josh?
God damn it. Okay, I picked
You're coming
2
in
really
bundles, by the way.
What?
You're coming in bundles. You're coming in bundles. You said
What
I got
do you
this.
mean I'm coming in bundles?
You put every Sharknado in there, and then you put every Resident Evil in there. So you're coming in bundles.
Because I mean, the thing is, like, Sharknado is the I put John Wick. Like, as long as the sequels, add to the series, for better or worse, I'm going to include them. It's like taking.
Okay, it's your list. I got another problem with it. I'm just saying you just come in bundle.
God, I'm like trying to now goddamn think of.
Wait, give me 2
God
more.
damn it. Okay, fuck. Like, yeah, now I'm going to bring up Terminator.
Okay. Well, we all know that you still got nightmares of the TV series, but that's because it got canceled.
The only nightmare I have of the TV series is that cliffhanger ending. I mean, it is. If there's a top 10 worst, top 5 worst cliffhangers that never got resolved, that better be fucking on there because oh my god,
it is on there. Oh, trust me, it is on there. Many people complain about that. Next to Heroes, and I don't know if this show had an ending though.
Is that the one with Tom Gleason, or am I thinking of something else?
With Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, it has Lena Headey, Summer Glau, Thomas Dekker.
Even. Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I
So
do
why?
remember it ending on a cliffhanger and just thinking, well, it's probably just not aired over here because it's so new in America. That was my thought at the time.
No, they just said, you know what, Terminator 4 is coming out. We gotta go to Terminator 4 now.
It was it was it's like the thing is there's questions that were raised in the finale that were never fucking answered. And the most horrible thing is they knew that they were most likely going to be canceled, but they left with that fucking cliffhanger anyway.
And you
I'm
know
just
what?
going
To
over and
add,
crying.
I know we've been talking about this to death, but I will say this about it. I think Fox made a big mistake. If they wanted to do a miniseries of the Sarah Connor, just do the miniseries. This show was actually, to their surprise, more successful than they gave it credit for.
Yeah, the Terminator,
That's the weird part
TV
about it.
show is the reason why I became a Terminator fan.
And speaking of which, what's your feeling on the Terminator movie series? Because I know, like many people, you liked it one, you enjoyed two very much, but then there's 3, 4, and 5. So I'm kind of curious of what your feelings
Okay,
on
mine is actually different than some of my fellow fans, so this is going to be fucking fun. I'm going to
this.
prepare
And by
my
the way, there's a
bullets.
switch coming out, and your director is doing it. So
Like the thing is, I'll get to it when I get to Terminator Genesis, but
not
I,
Genesis.
I know, but I'm going to just say explain some things of why I'm not happy about this. That does involve this, and probably not in the way you're expecting either.
I'm not saying anything. I'm letting you go. Go ahead.
I know, but that laugh speaks wonders. And it's
Because
James
you mentioned something earlier, I didn't expect it. That's why I was laughing. I said, "Well, so much for that film."
James Cameron has, like, back in the day, he was a good director, but he seems to have gone downhill. Just like George Lucas back in the day was a good director because he was restrained, and then he went downhill. It's just like that's one reason. Okay, starting with number 1. This is probably the weakest film for me in the series, but at the same time, it's the one that's most full of atmosphere, and it's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger did the best acting because all he had to do was look threatening, which is not hard for the guy.
You just never smile.
He never.
What was that?
You just never smile when you look terrifying.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how that is, because you said that he had to do anything. That was probably his best performance. Because like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the first film.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I always felt.
Oh, continue.
And I always felt that they just when I hear the critics, and I go back from the 90s when this film came out, because Cisco Neighbor was talking, and they said that Arnold Schwarzenegger get a great performance, and I'm sitting there, it's like, he didn't do anything. He just, if you're telling me,
you don't have, if he doesn't really have to act, he does a great job.
It's like you giving him points for not even saying. That's like me saying that a guy who played Dolph Lundgren, who played that guy in Rocky IV, he was superb because all he did was that I will break you, and that's it. I'm like, you're gonna give him points for that? I mean, anybody can do that.
The thing with it is he's not a very good actor, so the less you give him, the better performance you get.
All right, so what about 2?
Finishing with number 1, I do.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. I think I lost my train of thought.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I didn't have a train of thought.
You said it had the atmosphere, and you said
it had the atmosphere. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is that it was actually the hardest film for me to get into. I actually had to be a Terminator fan and then go back and rewatch the first movie to actually appreciate it. With number 2, that definitely deserves all the credit it gets. It took the average film into something else, and God, Linda Hamilton did an awesome job as this badass Sarah Connor who was mentally scarred from the first film. And it's like it had so many classic lines, and the T-1000 and the graphics to do the T-1000s were way ahead of its time and just amazing. Even today, it holds up. Sorry.
Number 3, go ahead.
Okay, number 3. I mean, once I start ranting about Catherine Brewster, played by Claire Danes, people like I was over at a mutual friend's house, and he actually changed the movies because my fiance Rev Resner thought I really hated the film. It's like I really hate her performance, but there's things to like and dislike. So one of the things I dislike is they killed Sarah Connor off screen when it should have, such an important death should have been done on screen. No, not just a line. But
no, I'm kind of curious about this because I didn't think she was the problem. I think that I think many people just couldn't let go of Sarah Connor because she became such an iconic character since two that she did anybody else who tried to replace her, which wasn't happening. So
it was killing off. It's like killing off Darth Vader off screen, like someone just casually mentions in the next film. Oh yeah, he died.
Oh, well, look, I think Claire Danes did a much better job than Bryce Dallas Howard did. That's just my opinion.
I don't think. No, Claire Danes just fucking annoyed me. Not because she's a bad actress, and actually I had to later see other things she was in to make sure that people were telling the truth, that she was just miscast and she was actually a good actress. The thing that annoyed me is she was always screaming and fucking whining throughout the entire thing for the most part till near the end, and it just is like, you can tell that someone's trying to kill you both, but yes, please, continue to get into situations where we'll be killed. Thank you very much. Fucker. And just her whining and yelling, it was just too goddamn much. But it does have the best John Connor, I think. It's just that Nick Stahl wasn't given a script. He has the same sort of voice that Michael Biehn has, sort of that barely there voice. Like, it's hard to explain, but he has the same tone of voice. Like, he's yelling, but it's only coming out as a whisper sort of voice.
I actually liked him as John Connor, even though, to me, I think the John Connor curse continues because they have not gave not one actor did a repeat in this film. Not a single one. It makes me wonder about that John Connor character. I only remember him in one other TV show, and that was one of the project, and that was Carnival, which was on HBO. Other than that, this is the only thing I think that I've seen him in the film.
Christian Bale still has, film work, but we'll get to him in a second.
So were you happy with the way they ended the film? I actually thought that was the most satisfying ending because it actually opened the door for films to be in the future, which they should have done to begin with.
Okay. Yeah, with the ending of the third film, it was definitely good because throughout this whole thing, they're racing to stop Skynet from launching, and like, oh, we can fight the future. And there's a good line that John Connor says of it when he finally steps and mans up of, okay, we're going to change the future, basically moment. And then after they did all this thing, John Connor just realizes all his fighting moves for nothing because Judgment Day still happened. He didn't change anything. That was it.
Just postpone it.
Yeah, you can only.
Kat, have you seen any Terminator films so far?
I've seen the first 3, and I think Salvation. I can't remember which one that is, but I don't think I've seen.
Salvation is the 4th one.
Okay,
now because I'm kind of curious, is it called Salvation in the UK? Because they actually in different regions it's actually called Redemption. So I was kind of curious, is it really actually called Salvation in the UK?
I've got it on DVD. I'm pretty sure it's called Salvation. It's the only name I know it by.
Yeah, because I know other places it's called Redemption. We actually had a. Yeah. Okay, so it's Salvation there. Like they had Avengers, a symbol. For some reason we didn't get that a symbol part in the US. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, you're weird. You're British.
It'd be surprised. It'd be amazed. They got movies we haven't seen yet. there's a whole bunch of Christian statement films that never came out in the United States. I never understood why. I
God.
never understood that. And they are good movies, and I'm like, so we're getting Transporter while they're getting some excellent classic quality action films. We're getting Transporter, a
Transporter's
man
good
who
movie.
dodges bullets by moving from side to side. I'm getting beside myself.
Okay.
With the Terminator 4, it's actually this is where I'm going to probably be murdered by hundreds and thousands of Terminator fans. It's actually my favorite movie in the franchise. And this following statement is going to get me beat up even harder because I never cried or teared up at the end of Terminator 2. But I teared up at the end of Terminator 4.
You mad because they didn't kill off John Connor like the original script said it would?
No, oh fuck! Oh god! Okay, let's talk about the actual film we got before we talk about the bullshit. Like it's okay. We're going to talk about a little bullshit with the trailer. It revealed that Marcus Wright was a new type of Terminator, and yet throughout the entire film, up until the reveal, they act like it's like this surprising thing. When it's like, dude, you. The trailer, I saw that. We're ignoring that, but Sam Worthington did a really good job, and he was good looking too.
Josh,
So, what?
Let's be realistic here, okay? What made people mad is that Skynet was supposed to be this threatening being, was not as threatening in this movie. Two, how is it possible that you keep giving your enemies the weapon or the tools they need to survive?
Or
how is it that?
Or how about this? You have Kyle Reese. Why did they let Kyle Reese live? That was one of the fucking stupidest pieces of shit there. Like, I'm glad he survived, sure, but why? You know he's going to cause shit for you. And actually, the novel that takes place after it, written by Timothy Zahn, who's most famous for his Star Wars books, and they do explain it a little bit, but still,
explain what? Listen, you gave a Terminator a human heart.
No, I'm talking about Kyle Reese. I'm talking about Kyle Reese thing, not the human heart bullshit.
When I saw the human heart, I said, you know what? Something's going to happen to John Connor that he's going to use. He's going to sacrifice himself to give a heart. And what happened? What happened? You can't explain. There's no justification for that. Yeah. I can live with the fact that these are Terminators who just throwing people around and not killing nobody or capturing them. I can live with that. I can accept that.
With the hybrid, it was
unacceptable.
It was supposed to be for infiltration purposes, not for actually attacking.
The dog still barked at him.
Because he was still he was half Terminator, that's why.
You can't infiltrate some. I'm sorry. This is your list.
No, as I said, this is
okay.
No, he's not okay. I enjoy the goddamn film because there are problems of how, and I mean, some parts of it are clever with, an infiltration unit that's human and doesn't realize it's a machine. Like, that's good, but the whole being detected by dogs needed to be smoothed out. And now my phone wants to chime in. My phone, chimed in.
Can you explain one thing to me? Because I watched this film a couple of times. And listen, before you go and think I hate the film, I don't. I gave it a respectable review. All right? But you cannot... Explain this to me. In the scene when he decided to break in Skynet, he breaks in Skynet with no problems. He just breaks into the whole thing.
Are you talking about John Connor or Mark?
Yeah, right. John Connor, who, by the way, was in it only a fraction of the film. This film was all about...
I think the ease of him going in was because Skynet wanted him to be there. Just like they released some stuff that seemed to be helping the resistance when it was actually the opposite. It was manipulating them, going, see, you're into this goal, but you're actually only there because I want you there.
Continue.
That's why. That's why he was. That's why I can see him breaking in so easily, because it was a trap. Like,
Okay.
if Skynet wanted to keep him out, it would probably been a lot harder.
He had no helicopter, no car. He just walked thousands of miles to Skynet's
No,
office and
no,
said,
he got the motorbike Terminator thingamajig. That's a motorbike
"Okay, well,
because it's cool. So
okay,
that's it.
continue."
So he did have wheels for some part of his journey.
I'm glad you read. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, with Terminator Self, not, god damn it, I was going to another. Okay, Terminator Genesis. Some of the things I go easy on the film because it was supposed to be the first in a trilogy. And so some things I had a problem with, I was thinking, I'm going to wait to see how they do things in the sequels and then give my final judgment, such as people were complaining, oh, they never said who sent Arnold back in time. And the thing is, that scene, if you take
Did
this
that on purpose.
as a trilogy, it's so that throughout the trilogy you have a question to be asked. Because when you do a series, you need to have overarching questions, so people actually tune in or read or buy the next part. And so I could forgive them that. And that's one of the reason that I'm sort of a little mad that James Cameron is going to be making Terminator movie that's not a sequel to Terminator Genesis, because some of those questions, because I can only give what I feel is like half of a review because we don't have those sequels.
Well, I can tell you right now that whole situation, what you just said, they killed that Terminator movie. Almost killed the franchise altogether.
I was,
and the only reason
you
why
heard about me, talking beforehand when I was still working for the Terminator fan site. And I was not anticipating at all. But I think it might be that I had put my standards so low that I actually had a very enjoyable time.
and I think that's the whole thing. Because to me, when I saw it, I didn't hate it. Again, but it's like you're retraining something. Here's my feeling on this, and I'm trying to look for Jeremy John's old video because it pretty much solidifies what he feels about Terminator Salvation after we've done our list, because it's actually kind of funny. Here's the problem why I had with the franchise overall, and this is something that I kind of wish they would actually do a follow-up on Terminator Salvation. I wanted them to continue the storyline.
Yeah, me too. That was one thing that disappointed me about Genesis when I heard we're going back to modern times. It's like there were problems in the future of Terminator Salvation that could have been resolved with a sequel. They could have taken the fans into consideration. Okay, we do need to change this or that, and to give them better look.
And I'll give you a prime example of why people have lost interest in this franchise, and why I understand why they picked James Cameron. And Kat, I'm going to use an example for a minute. So are you listening?
Yep.
Here it is. And then you tell me how you feel. You've seen the first film, Terminator. What is it about? A cyborg looking to kill the leader of resistance before he destroys Skynet. How are they going to do it? Well, simple. They're going to go after his mother first. You have a soldier, John Reese, who came into the picture. He said to protect the mother. Kyle Reese, you know him. The film provides on a great chase scene, lots of shooting, pretty much a fight to the finish, outsmarting, outwitting, and that's what the first film. The second film, a tremendously, beautifully CGI film, and instead of having Sarah Connor be the person they're chasing, is his son, John Connor. The film is advice of the chase scene, shooting, CGI, great performances from actors. And stop motion. Great filmmaking. It pretty much is, in my opinion, the equilibrium of that film. You can't go any higher than that. You really can't. Terminator 3. This film is the same thing. Chasing Sean Connery around the street of Los Angeles, shooting, trying to survive the elements.
I did like that they expanded on their targets, that it wasn't just John Connor. But it was mainly John Connor.
And yeah, the main mistake is, there you go. It was mainly John Connor and his future wife. Now, if it was his lieutenants, which we never heard about, those who's giving orders, it would have been very different. We would have seen how they would form together, how they form the resistance. But no, it's pretty much the same thing. Chasing this guy down the street of Los Angeles, trying to kill him. So much damage. I'm saying, after a while, the police gonna say, "Is this the same dude that's keep doing the same thing over again?" And I'm like, didn't we just win through this already? Terminator Salvation. You think finally, okay, we're in the future now. We're gonna see this battle. All right, PG-13. Okay, all right, whatever. But when we see something good, and what it is, John Cleese. He's being chased. They lost shooting. It's like, I mean, wait a minute. We just seen this already.
It's the original script that I didn't really talk about was that John Connor's brain would be put into Marcus Wright's, body. But I think the whole thing was once Christian Bale got argued for the role of saying Batman, he basically is Batman playing John Connor. And it took me years to, be at peace with that performance. It took so fucking long, but so he was the bigger named actor. So of course, if there's going to be sequels, they would need him.
Well, that never happened.
I noticed.
The thing with the matter is that I'm seeing the same thing. You're chasing John. Only now it's John Cleese. You're rinsing and repeating the same thing I'm seeing from the other films. Where's the originality? And what happened? Here comes Genesis. No. Okay, finally. Okay, we see, and the first thing I was loving about Genesis was the beginning. We seen the fight. We seeing them going after each other. I said, okay, this is good. I want to see the future fight. This is what we should have seen in Salvation, and it should have expanded upon or make it be their primary business. And what happens? They go back in time. What are they doing? They chasing, going around California.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm tired of seeing them getting chased by the Terminator. Please, come on, let me see the war already. Stop chasing. After a while, I'm the Terminator. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of chasing you guys in California. I'm gonna get a burger. All right. Now, when the apocalypse comes, then I'll come after you because this don't make no sense.
Yeah, like with Terminator Genesis. Well, what I didn't like, not the repeat thing, is the fact, like I barely noticed that for Genesis just because I was more focused on the fact that this movie did not know if it wanted to be something didn't know if it wanted to be something new or a remake. It didn't know what it wanted to be. So you had some things that were, sort of nice, but then there were scenes that were remakes of the past scenes, so much so that you don't know what do you want to be. Do you want to be your own thing, or do you want to be a remake?
As a popcorn film, it did its job. But I'm not going to sit here and deny that I gotten sick and tired of seeing the same thing I've seen from the first two films. And I'm pretty sure you would agree with me, Kat. After a while, you'd probably say, you know what, I'm just going to stay home and wait to get on video because I'm going to see the same damn thing.
I'll still see in theater because I'm the smartest person on earth.
What about you, Kat? You will wait
until it comes out on DVD, even though it's probably been out on DVD for years now, just because subtitles. But if it comes on TV, then
but
I'll still get it with subtitles if it comes on TV, so I'll see if it comes on at any point.
Yes, she's hard of hearing.
I know, and but my point is, you see one like that. It's like what the Cinema Sims or the movie trailer have said with Saw, and it was kind of funny. You see Saw, you see them all because they're pretty much rinsing and repeating. After a while, it gets repetitive. It gets boring. Shake it up a little bit. Show me something I haven't seen before.
Like the future. We need the future war, and each time they sort of tease at us, it's just
it's annoying, and that's why I felt they played themselves with Genesis in a sense. Is you didn't give us anything new. You're only giving us nostalgia. Listen, I want to see something. I love the Terminator franchise. Give me something new, please. And that's why
the Terminator TV series did show you the future, saw you that the side expanded beyond just robots versus humans. Like it complicated the war, and that was fucking one thing that made it very great is that you got those future battles, sort of, and you got different sides, and it's a shame it was canceled as. And the cliffhanger ending, John Connor was in the future. He actually met his father as an adult. And it's just like, we're in the future now, and we'll be exploring things. John Curley, I can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
And you are extremely stuttery to me.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I figured it was my bandwidth doing something weird. That or Dad's trying to watch internet TV. I don't know.
John Curley loses, like, the voice is lost like once or twice an episode. It's normal.
Oh,
We can talk
okay.
about whatever the heck we want now. Totally change the podcast. Let's turn this into an Animorphs podcast now.
I was just gonna say that. Quick, switch to Animorphs format.
Quick.
Take your hat off.
Damn it, he's
Wait.
back.
Okay.
Crap, keep your hat on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but there's actually
my bandwidth. Don't worry.
no. It's my microphone saying to hell with me. To the Terminator Rant show, I just wanted to point out that everyone was going off track there, but no surprise here. It's a good popcorn film, and I will say one of the things I think you and I will agree with, Josh, definitely about it is the TV show. Even though it was an inquel, which was between 2 and 3, it actually did something right.
No, actually, it's the timeline is 1, 2, and then 1, 2 Terminator's Sarah Connor Chronicles and ignores the rest of the films after T2.
Okay, I think your microphone is scattering because I know I'm hearing you sound like a robot.
Oh dear, she's one of them. Damn you, Skynet.
Damn it! I've been found out.
Why were you Terminator? That makes sense.
You got one more to give me. What is it?
God, we spent forever on Terminator, so that would take up enough time. God damn it! Oh God, let's see what else. Shut up, phone.
You need your voice box fixed.
Yeah, my voice box fixed. Okay, I'm actually going to refresh the page and see what happens. Don't say anything bad behind my back.
Well, no. I went on
it should be fun.
I didn't mean to go on a 15-second rant.
Okay, hi.
No, it's okay.
Okay, do I sound better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better.
I did what I did. I tapped my input button there for a moment.
I kept on tapping the mic over and over.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
let's see what.
You just need to give me one.
I'm trying to fucking think.
I'll be shocked if this thing can make your list. I know where it is
saying
too.
About him meeting his father as an adult. That's the last thing I remember understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? Like, what movie do you think is going to be on the list that doesn't exist?
I'm gonna wait.
No,
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see what you say. No, I'm gonna wait.
Let's see. I fucking can't. There's a bunch of fuck. Let's see. Are you here to help me? Oh, they're just horror movies. That's not an action movie at all. God damn.
Give me a horror film then. You already gave me one with Resident Evil.
But there was action, with that. There was more action and senseless plot than, Like the first one did a good job with the horror elements, and then afterwards it's awesome. And then when Ian Glenn shows up, it's hot. Oh, yeah. So I'm getting so fucking distracted. Ah, fuck. Let's see. I'm looking at the movies, that you can't actually see.
I can't believe that you actually didn't put this on your list. I this would have been on your list, and I'm like sitting there waiting to say, okay, she's gonna put it on this any day now.
God.
She watched this 3 times already, so she's definitely gonna put it on the list. No,
okay,
twice. and it's not even on your list.
Okay, the list doesn't exist. Can you just tell me which movie I've disappointed you on?
There's actually 2 films I thought was going to be on there.
Oh,
And
okay,
they ain't on the
2.
list.
Okay, list the 2 goddamn films so I can say yes or no they want to make the list.
Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy or both?
Oh god, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely going to be on there. Damn it, that's
Was definitely going to be on there. Oh
yeah,
my god.
that was definitely because that movie is one of the rare goddamn films that I can just hear the music. I'm like, I'll watch 5. Oh, look, the credits.
And you didn't put it on your list?
I never
can't believe
wrote a list except for 2 movies on here.
You wrote 2 movies. You had 2 weeks.
No.
We postponed this show for you. You didn't even go list.
Obviously, you don't know about me and procrastination, but hi. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy would definitely be on the list. It's funny, humorous. It has I know the lines so well that I was watching this with Dad at one point, and I was just saying the lines before they were actually said, and Dad just looks at me like, "Why are you watching this? You know what's going to be said."
You ruined his
No,
experience.
I've not seen the first one. I've only seen the second one, but I do have the first one on DVD.
You need to see the first one. That has one of the.
Did you like the second one? Because a lot of people was mixed on it. A lot of people was mixed on the second one. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I understood it because I haven't seen the first one, but I'm sure that like when I've seen the first one, I'll like the second one more because I understand what the hell's happening.
Yeah, okay. It's the first one has one of the best opening title sequences because it perfectly tells you the switch of tone that will be happening throughout the film, and preparing you. And like if you watch that title sequence and you don't like it, you can actually say, "I'm actually not going to enjoy the rest of this movie," and stop.
Oh, okay.
That is just on the opening title sequence alone, I'm sort of in love with that. And then Chris Pratt is awesome.
I'm still can't believe you didn't put this on your list. I'm like, okay, Avengers gonna come out.
Avengers is okay,
come there,
but it's not. But it's like if I have to choose between the 2, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It just is. It did a lot more for me than the Avengers. So the Avengers is an awesome film on its own. With some sexy guys there on their own. Oh, so. Hi, I need help. I know you're thinking it. Cat's in confusion. Cat's probably in absolute confusion when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch it because there's someone sexy on screen. And then Shocker just wants me to get help.
I didn't say anything. I'm just saying. I'm just shocked that not one Disney Marvel franchise was on your list, even though you have a lot of
Ant-Man. Okay, then also Ant-Man's awesome. And that's a funny.
I haven't seen him. So.
Oh, my favorite part. He has a Baskin Robbins uniform on, and for some reason during my initial viewing of the film, I was just going to break down laughing for 2 hours just seeing him dressed up like that. For some reason, that was just extremely funny to me.
All right, well, now you're done. Nice to know you did your homework after 2 weeks, but that's
I didn't know I was going to be graded.
All right, so this is live, gentlemen.
Hi.
Yes, you know it. Now, it's Kat. Your list is going to be unique. I'm saved you for last for a reason. Before we get to your list, I am curious.
Not doing my work. What? That's why he wanted me to go.
No. There's actually another reason. Kat, I am curious about this picture that we have here. I thought this is the anime picture or something you made up?
That's actually something that my friend drew.
It's beautiful.
And I will tell him. And that's actually like me and an alter ego. I'm on the brighter side. That's how I sort of look.
Okay. All right. Now, you have your list. I'm gonna give you the floor. You can start at any number you want. There's no 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just give me your popcorn films, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, well, how long have we got?
You can give me as many as you can.
Oh, okay. Well, I did narrow it down to 5 just in case, but I do have 8 overall.
Okay.
I think I will start with, because you were talking about British films. I'm gonna go with Watership Down.
Okay.
I did not write down the year for this. Hang on, let me go and look up what year Watership
Oh,
Down
was
was.
Watership Down the one with the rabbits?
Yep.
Yeah, I've never
We
seen it, but I've heard horror stories from people who've read the book and watched the movie. I'm like, I sort of want to see it now, but I'm also sort of glad that the only thing that scarred me was Animorphs.
Hmm. Well, I can tell you it's from 1978. Um. Yeah. I don't know whether it airs every Easter here, but I know that it aired this Easter, and there was just a flood of complaints because apparently people haven't seen it before and their kids were scarred.
This is from the UK.
Yes.
I'm shocked because we didn't.
You're just like,
I'm
oh
sorry,
god, it's too bloody and scary and violent. What is this? Well,
and
yes. Have
we
you not
didn't get
seen
that in
it?
the US. We did not get that in the US, but we heard about it and we seen clippings. I'm gonna I'm gonna show you a clipping of it. Maybe it's the wrong one, but I'm gonna show you what I mean if I can find it. I know Double Toasted talked about it. I'm like, oh my god, is this the kids show? It can't be.
You show it, and I will confirm it because I know that there was a tamer, cutesier, is if that's even a word, cuter TV show version, but the film version, which is apparently listed as a fantasy drama film at nearly 2 hours.
That's 2 hours
Yes, hour
of animals
hour
getting run.
forty
Oh
three
my god.
minutes. It's an hour and 43 minutes,
Oh
but
god.
it's a little bit slow. But then, like when things kick up or something happens, either expect a lot of blood, basically.
Oh
Um,
god.
um.
I just,
So yeah, I don't know whether I'm waiting for you to show a clip for me to confirm or whether I should just keep
I'm
talking.
gonna look for it right now. I gotta type Double Toasted.
Okay.
But is it rated R or PG? I forgot. There's a different rating system for the UK. What rating system do they have in the UK, if I may ask?
Uh. Um. You 12, 15, 18, as far as I know.
Okay, and I'm assuming that the biggest rating is 18.
Yes.
Because I don't know if they have. Let me see if I can find it here. No. I know what I'm looking for. No,
You guys
that's
had
PC.
it released over there on the 1st of November 1978.
I'm telling you, we did not get it.
there's people in the US who have talked about it.
It
We
says
talked about it.
initial release 1st of no,
It
no, no, November
okay,
1978 USA. So
and it was buried. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling I only heard of it from doubletoasted.com. I'm not their site now. I forgot what they called it because somebody actually mentioned it, and they were stunned as what they were seeing.
I'm not at all
Um,
surprised. It is surprisingly incredibly violent for a cutesy film about rabbits.
Yeah, that's really the one thing. I haven't really heard anything about the plot except that it's like it's just it's you would never expect something so bloody from something so cute.
I can explain the plot if you'd like me to give you spoilers.
yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
mind spoilers. And hey, if
Okay.
anyone of you listening don't like spoilers, do you hear the year 1978? You've had the time. Continue.
aside from the fact that I was born in the 90s and I didn't see it until I was 12, which was like a decade ago because it was on TV. And it was right before Christmas. And then I was just like going, oh, Watership Down. Yeah, this must be like what I remember glimpsing as a kid. This will be fun. What the hell am I watching? What is happening?
What's the plot? What's the plot?
Oh, you want to know the plot? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we
so-
can do your tortured screams.
Okay, I just found it.
Oh yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't. Watership Down. I don't think this is the same movie. I really don't, which is scaring me. I'm gonna give a screenshot because I can't do it with the YouTube video thing anymore because they took that off. But I can do a screen share. All right.
Okay, that will be fine.
Okay.
How dare you?
Hey, look, YouTube changed the game. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not exactly missing it because it's sometimes, unless I can find a way to put the video. Okay, there it is. All right, I'm gonna try and get it as one bit because this is annoying as hell. It really is annoying. Okay, so you should see what I'm seeing.
I'm seeing
Please,
your
I'm hoping.
face. Okay, now I see your screenshot. Animated violence.
I'm
Okay, this is
waiting
what it.
for. Oh, okay, there it is.
I don't hear the sound. Do you hear the sound?
No,
I
just
figured
skip ahead
that.
to the picture, and I'll be able to tell you.
Tone Royal, Danielle from Double Toasted. This is courtesy from them. They have talked about this on a consistent basis. For some reason, the sound is not coming up, which is annoying the hell out of me.
Probably because there's no sound share function.
Or should...
It is. That's what I'm going to try and figure out. So they're talking about this, and this is what I saw. I don't know if this is the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's not. Fucking Coleman. Damn. Because I might bring a question to them, and then they show the clip, and they're like, "What the hell was this?" And it's supposed to be an educational thing about showing about death and Circle of Life, and I said, "That's not the way you show it."
Oh, that
Okay, here it is.
Pfeiffer.
If
See
no,
these
animals
birds.
of Fartham
I'm like,
Wood.
oh my god, what's this?
That's the animals of Fartham Wood, not Watership.
Okay, that's even more scary that you know this one.
You should see her dark side. It's very scary.
I've seen that on TV, but I've never really properly watched it. But I know what it is because it doesn't.
You saw it the minute you
focus
saw
on
that.
rabbits.
Okay, so that's one. So I know that's not it, but that's definitely right up there. Now, here's the other one I've seen. One is the one that you're talking about, and it's actually on YouTube.
Yep, that's
an hour and 46 minutes. I can't watch an hour 46 minutes. And the nostalgia critics mentioned this one.
Yep.
This is crazy. They did not
send that to Josh. Even though I'm about to talk about it now. Basically.
So this is it right here.
Yeah. It does not stay that cute. This is just the intro sequence.
Oh, that's so adorable. How could it ever be so bloody?
This looked like from This lady came up from 1955. Before.
No, it came out in 1978.
I know, but it does. What the hell?
It's
okay,
my tail. Okay, so basically the story is that the little rabbit, which we will see, called Fiverr, gets visions, and he gets this vision that something really bad is going to happen to their warren. So he and his brother managed to round up some of the rabbits who actually believe him to go off and find somewhere safe, which is this hill actually called Watership Down. It exists. It's a real place. I can't tell you where it is though. But
So this
But of
this is
course,
definitely a UK movie.
Yep. Everybody except
How-
for the seagull has a British accent. I don't know what accent the seagull
Wow.
has. But
Seagulls have
if you skip
pitches.
ahead, I'm pretty sure that you will land on something of some sort of violence.
Yeah, just like pick a
I'm trying.
minute.
I'm not even trying to attempt this. I don't want to be scarred for the rest of my natural days. But this looks.
Don't
This,
worry.
I'm just gonna skip
Oh
to the
yeah.
114. I'll tell you one thing though. This is actually for if you're an animation fan. This is definitely. These rappers don't look like they've been through. You got one with blue eyes, and
Oh,
these
that's
rappers look like they've been
that's
through some stuff. This guy doesn't even look like he's happy to be there. Yeah, he's been through some stuff.
General Woundward. He's the head rabbit of excuse me, the chief rabbit of his Warren. Hang on.
Oh God, it's doing the Inception thing again.
I know, but I'm not on that thing. So basically, this was. I mean, what did you feeling about this film? Because I am stunned that they actually made kids watch this film.
Well, I hope you have fun if you do decide to watch it. Well, I love this film mostly
Oh
like
God,
because of
I'm
the
I'm
old
on
art style.
Wikipedia, and I'm just reading. Okay, so Fiverr has gone to Coslip, and so they're like, "Oh, this seems great," but Fiverr's like, "Oh, I said I have a bad feeling about this," and it turns out that these rabbits are using them for their own chances of survival, since the farmer does feed some of them, but also kill some of the rabbits. So with more rabbits means, the actual residents will have a stronger chance of living. This is for kids?
Yep.
Oh my fucking God. I'm just
explain.
reading the summary and I can see where it's going to be good. And like when Bigwig is nearly killed in a snare. Oh God.
Yep.
So
Let her
okay,
explain. I want her to
I know.
explain it.
I'm sorry. I just come across this part, and I'm like, this is for kids. This is for fucking kids.
Let her explain, because because keep in mind, UK cinema is way different than US cinema. So the fact that they actually play with this as a children's fantasy, I gotta know. I gotta hear from those who live in the UK. How did you felt about this? And most importantly, this is considered a popcorn film for you. So obviously you'll see this again someday.
Oh God.
Well, when I saw it the first time, as you heard from my general reaction, I was just there going, this is definitely British and not Japanese, yes, because I've seen gory Japanese and anime. Oh no, it's definitely British. Okay then, I will just have to get used to this. So I've taken a decade to get used to it, and I will happily rewatch it again.
Mm-hmm. You hear that, Josh? Josh is speechless.
Wait until you actually watch it.
I know, that's what worries me. That's why I'm getting more, freaked out. Not because of the description, but I know that the actual product is going to be about 10 times the work.
Listen, it's on YouTube now. You can go watch it and check for yourself.
No. I don't know.
So what's it? I'm curious because I know I heard about it, and then the other one was even more frightening. That actually you actually know what that is. What's the difference between? Obviously, there's a whole bunch of animals getting massacred. You guys don't play around when it comes to Circle of Life movies.
Apparently not. I mean, if you've seen Plague Dogs as well, that's by the same company. That was I've only watched that once, and I'd rather not watch that one again.
Mm-hmm.
Good God.
Makes me wonder if Charlotte Webb was tamed. It really is.
As any list showing goriest and animated films will probably show you, in Plague Dogs, someone gets shot in the face.
I actually
and
passed through that.
Show you, and they briefly show you the guy
You
just
can't even
holding
explain
his
it.
hands over his very bloody face, and that's and like that's all that you see of it, and just
Yeah, they don't play around. They don't not they're not afraid of being sensitive with that situation. But then
no.
again, it's a different culture and a different way they view life and death, and they don't shy away from it sometimes. What's your next list?
I
What
would
else?
first like to say that I that like with most films on my list, I give Watership Down a 9 out of 10, just because it is rewatchable.
So
See, I
she's an
got you.
evil person deep inside. Like on our podcast, she has revealed an evil side. So something of death and destruction being liked by her does not surprise me.
All right, number two.
I'm normal, I swear. Um,
Bullshit.
um, Going on to another British film, I would go with Hot Fuzz.
What is it?
Hot Fuzz.
Pox Pals?
Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
Oh,
What
Hot
is it?
Fuzz with
Yes.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. That I've seen parts of it. I sadly haven't seen the entire film.
Well, I can
now
say.
tell me
Well,
why you
I
like about
can.
this film.
Okay.
This is one of the of three of the. This is one of the trilogies of the ice cream trilogy. You picked this
The
one.
Cornetto trilogy,
Cortinello.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Cornetto trilogy, yeah.
So why this one tops all? Why this one tops them all?
Because it's a great murder mystery, and possible sort of romance film. Plus it's a great comedy. um, I actually rewatched this with an American friend, and I just had like so much more fun watching it with a non-British friend, because I then like had to explain various things, and it was so much funnier with their reactions. Um,
As I said, she's a horrible person.
yes. But yeah. When I'm like in the mood to just watch something rare that doesn't have any like romance in it, Hot Fuzz is just something that I go for.
Hmm.
It's really clever.
Oh, it's interesting. I actually liked it. The work that Simon Pegg have done in this British side. Um, Mind you, the first film was not meant to be a hit, and it actually not only became a hit, but it actually has sparked new interest in London cinema. So that's actually a great thing. So, and like I said before, and the reason why this is so unique with your list is a lot of people don't realize that there is a Hollywood in the UK. They only assume that Hollywood is reference to the United States and in California, but there is a Hollywood that is in the UK. A good portion of films do come from Europe, including Australia. So hearing these films and even seeing these films branch out from the UK here is always a great thing. It says a lot about how these films have evolved. So Hot Fuzz is definitely something I'm not surprised you have on your list. It's definitely one of those films that deserves to be there. Um, how many times have you seen the film? May I ask?
Uh, at least 5.
See that? That's definitely a popcorn film.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, Simon Pegg is hilarious. I love seeing anything he's in. He does a great comedic role, and he's also cute. Like he's not just cute, but he's nerdy cute. He's a nerd in real life, which makes him 10 times better.
Yeah, I kind of am. Yeah.
And it's like nerds make everything better.
And he's a really good actor. I will have to show you this one, Josh.
Yeah, I've seen Hot Fuzz, most
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
never mind.
So I just, yeah.
Well, if either of you want to see it, I got it on DVD so we can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go right down to your house right now.
That sounds great. I'll get the tea.
Yeah, I'll get the
Okay.
tea ready. Just non-caffeinated kind, like any herbal tea will do. That's because I can't drink coffee anymore. I can, but my stomach doesn't
What?
agree. I have acid reflux. Like, it got worse, so
Wait.
I still can't really
What
drink.
does that have to do with coffee?
Because tea. Because I've been drinking a lot of tea, and I know what sort of tea I like.
Okay. Well,
Because
okay,
I drink so much tea, I'm an honorary Brit.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, they scream at me, but that's okay.
Sorry, I
All
didn't
right.
mean to scream. Sometimes I don't know the level my voice is going. Like, for me, like my
Yeah.
voice has been normal this entire time. Like, that's
Yeah, your voice has been beautiful.
damn right.
What's
it
the
is.
next on your list, Kat? What's the next on your list?
Okay, well, those are actually the only two specifically British films that I have on my list. But next was the film Nine, just the number 9.
Okay, that came out in the U.S. I think it's more popular in the U.K. than it is in the U.S. because this is a film that is up there with. Why can't I get this girl's name? The girl with the button parents.
Coraline.
Thank you. I can't. Why I couldn't get that name? I don't know why.
I was in a comic book store a few days ago and I saw Coraline there.
So you like this film? This film never really got a chance to expand. It really just came and went. But you managed to catch it. What was so unique about this film? And was it a stop motion film or a little bit of both?
I
It seemed like
I think it's a CGI film actually.
didn't seem like it though.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, it's really, really well done.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, excuse you. Please go back down. I want to read this. Hang on, my notes are spazzing out.
I didn't know if you were talking about your notes or your cats.
I don't have any cats in here.
Okay, just making sure. Because sometimes I've had, pets like that before, dogs and cats. And I know that once they see you doing something, they try to get right in your face. Like, pay attention to me.
I keep my cats out of my room just because I'm worried that they're gonna start going to the bathroom in here, and I don't really want that. But anyway, basically what I wrote down for the notes of this is because I've only seen it twice, but it did stick in my head from the first time. I love the idea of dolls and machines being sentient alone with no humans in an apocalyptic setting. Like, post-apocalyptic setting. If I can read and talk.
Don't worry, neither of us can. Any of us can here. This bullshit.
I love how they're all made of different materials and have different components in place along with their abilities, like how they have different personalities. I love the variety of robotics in this. The tension is well done when it needs it, and the scares are obviously scary. This is a damn dark film, and the music fits well too. This has only been my second viewing, but I enjoyed it as much as the first time, though I understood it better given I had subtitles this time. I am especially won by the half-blind one for some reason, probably because of my own disability. The twins fascinate me too, and I'm not entirely sure why, but that's probably because of their being mute and how they communicate and how fluidly they move. It's just cute.
Interesting. You gave me a whole review. That's really nice. How many?
I've seen this twice now.
Okay, and will you see it again if it's on TV?
Oh yeah.
All right, that's interesting. Again, this movie did not do well in the U.S. I don't know if it was a style. Caroline did well, but this film pretty much fell in the same unfortunate category as 1010, which I actually wanted to see, and I wanted to see the other two films, which would never happen thanks to the poor performances. Big Friendly Giant was a huge disappointment. I was stunned that this film didn't do as well as I thought it would.
The new one or the original?
Big Friendly Giant?
Yeah.
The new one with Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know there was a
I thought
remake.
it didn't.
You just blown some of my attention. There was another one.
Yeah, there was one back in the 80s. I own that one as well if you want to watch that with me.
That's interesting. I got to check that out. But yeah, it's one of those
I
films
don't
that
think the new
unfortunately,
one lived up to the old one, but that's just my opinion. Carry on, excuse me.
that's well, a lot of people didn't have any interest in seeing this one. People didn't even know that was Steven Spielberg who made that film, which is even more shocking. But yeah, it is what it is. What's the next list on your? What's the next movie on your list?
Blibbity blue.
That sounds like a great movie title.
What, blibbity blue?
Yeah, sure.
um, I'm, I'm gonna go with the original Tron.
All right. Here's the thing. Before you get started, I never mentioned this. Here's the thing. This movie bombed in the box office when it came out.
Is that
Many
a good
people.
term or a bad term?
Here's the funny thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm
The
glad you
the
asked that question. This
bombed
film,
out. She's asking if it's a good term or a bad term.
all means it didn't make any money. It failed at the box office. Nobody's seen it.
Oh.
The critics called this film boring. No, makes no sense. Bland. And yet this film has such a strong following. They made Tron Legacy, which has mixed reactions.
I love
You
Tron
actually,
Legacy.
I think it was way better than the first Tron. I tell you that. But Tron did have a cult following, and apparently you like Tron. So I'd like to know what you're feeling about what made you really drawn to this movie. Because you got the original clamshell, which is actually surprising. I had never seen that video box for years. So the fact that you had the original clamshell brings back memories. You enjoy this film, and they always said that one of the best films people enjoy, the film that nobody saw in theaters, only afterwards for word of mouth. So, what was it about this film that was so engaging with it?
I'd heard of it for years and years and years over my childhood, but I'd never actually seen it. And then, um, um, and then Dad sat me down with the video that he'd got off of eBay, and we sat and watched it. Well, we got like 20 minutes in, and then he stopped it for an hour to talk to me about like, oh, look at all these old computers which filled an entire room, and like once we got past that.
Okay. Oh, I can understand Revs. I was like, I watched a little bit of the opening of Tron before me and Revs had to go somewhere. And oh god, yeah, he was pointing out nerd facts from nerd facts. Like, this is my first time viewing the film. Can you shut up and let me enjoy?
Dad, shut up! I want to actually watch the film, not stop for an hour and have you lecture me and teach me about these old computers. Yes, they're fascinating, but we're watching a film.
Yes, it's. Oh god, I just gained Rev's flashbacks. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit slow to start, but I was about keeping up with it, like as it went, and then the graphics started, and then the sound effects started, and like, me being deaf, I don't know whether you would think that I would like be that interested in the sound effects, but I was just sat there going, that is amazing. I know this is like 50 years old or whatever, but I love this. Just listen to those sort of glitchy footsteps. I love it, and then everything's just sort of like neon and glowing in the dark, and I just adore that. And it just and it just kept me just by the visuals and the sound alone, even if the story makes no sense whatsoever. Plus the music's really good, and that's also why I love Tron Legacy. Even though like that's basically just the same thing but updated, but it's just how this world to me is just made by the sound effects and the visuals. I just think that it's like really clever even for its time.
All right, Josh, you got anything you want to add to this?
I just remember Revs going, "Hey, look at how this like not even just the technology, just the special effects that were used. Like, see, and you can see Josh, you can easily tell that this is a much smaller room because look at this and that." And I'm just like, I'm trying to like get into this small scene, but thank you. I'm thinking about strangling you now, and taking my chances with someone else. But please continue.
Now, I don't want to. I don't want to keep you here too long. If you want to go the whole entire list, but if you want to just give me one more, then that's fine. What will be that one film that you want to talk about? If you want to talk
Oh,
about film.
oh boy, I'm going to go with Dragonheart.
Really, which I'm pretty sure the dragon speaks in this movie, right?
Yep, that
Yep.
would be Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Okay, that's the one I want
Okay,
to
so
make sure.
I've only seen it once. I barely remember it, and I know that the goddamn dragon speaks, and his voice is it. God.
That's Sean Connery.
Yes,
That's James Bond.
yes. James Bond speaks.
What is it? So, what is it about this movie you like so much, and why is it your popcorn film?
Well, aside from the fact that it's completely nostalgic to me, I I have seen snippets of the most recent film, which I have yet to see because I've only seen the first two, and I'm still thinking, even like 2 decades on, that Draco just looks completely realistic compared to the obviously CGI stuff of
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. And I just and I'm um um and I sort of know like how they like did like reaction scenes with Draco, but he's just so well done. He just looks realistic. I cannot see him as CGI at all. Um, aside from me gushing about Draco being like the best realistic fake thing ever, um, I love his personality. David Lewis is a great villain, and I adore Brother Gilbert as well. Um, I rewatched it the other night just to like just to go over my notes, and I'm not sure what it is about Bowen. I think it's just how he did his voice, but that kind of annoyed me. But
Mm.
aside from that, it's just a really a really good film. Just to sort of compare how the graphics of a dragon were back then, back in the 80s or 90s or whatever, and just compared to the Dragonheart films of now, which I've yet to see properly, but and it's just nostalgic to me.
Okay. All right. So those are the popcorn films we hold dear to our hearts. This is a very great, fun moment. We almost sidetracked, but then again, what else is new? Um, it was fun. I actually enjoyed it. But the one thing I will say about it is that the first two selections you have is amazing because again, this is not a U.S. release. This is UK. For culture reasons, I think it's very important to understand that a lot of our culture still is influenced by European culture. That is, where you're from. Many people heard about the films you mentioned, at least the film that you have brought up, the one film, but they don't know that they even exist only through word of mouth. It's on YouTube. I mean, you can't dispute that. But it's definitely something that that many people don't realize, especially in the 70s and 80s. It's been very rare that you see films from the UK get pushed into U.S. Release. Like I said, there's a whole lot of Christian statement films, good ones that will not seen a U.S. release, which scratch your head. We get the other ones, but we don't get those. We don't get the ones that is actually good quality. Um, and these are popcorn films that may look shocking to us, but they're considered very good cultural classic to other countries. And with that, we're going to look at the top five. We're going to do some honorable promotions, and then we'll be gone. So we're going to go to the box office, where that is not international. The numbers that we're going to be talking about, but at the same time, you may have heard about this film, and you may have heard about some good things or bad things. One thing for certain, I'm just gonna be smiling when I'm going to be talking about these picks because I'm glad they bombed. I'm glad they became absolute disappointments. It may not be disappointment in your country, so I will ask, how is it doing over there? Or it may not even came out in your country. There, who knows? If it's actually coming out at all. So I'm gonna do a screen share because I'm not gonna give links because I don't know how much power you have on your tablet. So I'll just do that, and we're gonna start running the list through this. Let's get right straight to it. I'm looking for it now. Here's results, and keep in mind this is not an official number yet, but it will indicate just how good the film will go through. Whether it's gonna be a hit or a bomb. It really all depends on how well they do domestically all over the world. Let's start with number five. I'm leaving number six alone because I heard so many crazy things about this film.
Why? But anyway.
We'll talk about that later. Number five this week is Everything, Everything by Warner Brothers release. It was released for $6.1 million. It made this weekend. It's played in 2,801 theaters. Its total gross 21.5 million. That is a budget of $10 million in 2 weeks, so it's a hit. I don't know if you heard about this, Kat.
No.
Yeah, it's a basically this girl has to live in a bubble, and then she falls in love, and blah blah blah. She goes outside the bubble and risks everything. Blah 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 blah.
And she don't care. Kat does not care about this movie. She's not going to watch this film. She don't even.
I don't know if I'll get the chance to. That's the thing.
It seems to be very generic, and I think if I like that genre, I might go, oh, I might check that out. But as someone who doesn't really care for the genre, I'm just gonna.
Number four. This is a huge drop. From
I want
to
fucking see that so badly.
Alien Covenant.
Oh, I want to see that.
The film made $10 million in the U.S. That is a huge drop. It made $57 million. It still has a long way to go for making its budget because the budget is $97 million. This is in 2 weeks. This is a big deal because number one, it dropped 70%. That is a huge drop. We can understand 40 or 50, but when you have a 70% drop, that says a lot. That means word of mouth is not that good.
I mean,
what do you guys think?
Even if Prometheus didn't really have, people didn't seem to be highly mixed on that movie, and I highly enjoyed it. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and it's extremely hard to impress me with 3D, such as Avatar didn't impress me with its 3D. And the two parts that I liked the 3D on was the dust storm, because I sort of flinched every now and again like I was actually in the middle of a storm. And then the holographic scene where David, is working the navigational system of the alien ship.
Well, here's the thing about it. Many people are confused. They don't know if this is a prequel or a sequel. They really don't know what this is. They do know it's supposed to take place right after where Prometheus set off, but it seemed like the director decided to do about face because it has nothing that resembles the previous film. So who knows what the feeling is?
I know that Covenant takes place a couple years after, and they've actually released, I think, a short or two going between the time of Prometheus and Covenant.
Well, I do know one thing: they have made $57 million. They're nowhere close yet to making their budget back. So this film has the making of being either a underwhelming performance or a flop, depending on what they do the next few weeks. I'll keep an eye on it, but it doesn't look
I
too
hope
good.
it does
really.
good.
Is it released in the UK, Kat, or still not been released yet?
I would have no idea. I don't manage to keep up with these things. Don't ask me.
We're asking you. Tell us.
Well, I don't
Okay.
have any answers,
Jason? Sorry.
Here's a movie that why did they make this? Why do they keep going back to the 80s? I don't want to see. I didn't want to see. I know that people actually liked it. 21 Jump Street, surprisingly.
That's funny.
But here's the thing. Baywatch was never a comedy, and I saw the trailer, and it reeks of comedy. It premiered at number 3 so far. It made $18.1 million. It's played in 3,647 theaters. Their budget is not that big. The $69 million budget, I don't see them making that money. I really don't. And if it does, I'd be shockingly surprised. But then again, there are fans of The Rock out there, so who knows? No comment. That's beautiful.
I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of the. I mean, The Rock's decent, but he does nothing for.
No, you're a Lee Nielsen fan. You want Lee Nielsen. You don't want The Rock.
Well, I like. The thing is, I like my men a little older. Men are like fine wine. They're fucking morons when they're young, and it's only, when they get older, do they actually acquire any form of taste.
You make it sound like that Lee Nielsen is 75 years old.
He's fucking. I'm 30 years old. He's ancient compared to me.
Well, Kat, will you be watching Baywatch if it's on television?
Which one?
Baywatch.
Will you be watching Baywatch if it's on television?
I don't know. I would have to see what my mood is, and how much of it I've missed in like when I see that it's on.
All I know is that if you're gonna watch it, just watch the TV show first with David Hasselhoff.
Okay.
I have heard of it.
Like Animorphs mentioned, like Marco mentions Baywatch a few times, I think.
Oh yeah.
That tells me you never. That tells me you never got this TV show on your country.
I've never actually seen it either, and I'm in the U.S.
I seen it by accident. I saw it by accident.
You've done everything by accident.
Listen, they lost me. It's okay. It's all right. It's a cheesy beach action film, but they lost me when they put the supernatural thing with Baywatch Night. Now you're just jumping the shark. Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It made another cool, crisp $19.8 million. This film is a huge mega hit, $333 million of a $200 million budget in its 4 weeks of playing. So it's safe to say Volume 3 will be coming soon to a theater near you, don't you think?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You don't seem too anxious to see another of the Guardians.
Oh, another Guardians. Yeah, I can't. I thought you were talking about Pirates for like half a second, and that's why I was so disinterested.
Wait, hold on a second. How did you?
I zoned out for half a second, and I thought 5 minutes has passed.
You didn't hear me say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Yeah, but I zoned out, so I didn't know if you saw anything else. No.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't wait till the next Guardians of the Galaxy comes out. I heard it's supposed to focus on Gamora, just like Volume 2 focused on Star-Lord. Volume 3 is going to focus on Gamora.
All right. Well, hopefully by then the Secret Wars, the Infinity Wars, will already take place.
Yeah,
Which I don't know they're gonna be in it or not. They don't seem
I think they would. I mean, there's been talks of killing Thanos, and if you don't have Nebula, at least try to kill Thanos. It seems like you're missing out on a bunch of character development.
No, I'm gonna worry about that. Let's see what they do. The universe is doing great. They're moving forward. It's been a great year for Marvel, especially in the money department. Pirates of the Caribbean is number one. No surprise there. This is the final chapter, by the way, of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. They will not be no more after this. Dead Man Tells No Tales. It does have an
Do you
all-star
guys have a
cast.
different title?
What was that? A distant title?
Yeah, because ours appears to be Salazar's Revenge, or something like that.
Uh-huh. Well, this is a film that's been in development hell for a while. It was pushed back almost 2 years. Maybe we didn't think it was going to actually come out at all, but it finally came out. Um, it it's pretty much another standalone Pirates movie because the trilogy, which is Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, and that's World End, was pretty much comprised of the original cast from that point. I forgot what the other one was called.
On Stranger Tides,
Yeah,
that was, AKA the one I don't give a shit about and never saw.
That's probably why I don't remember the title. What about you, Kat? You saw that one?
Yep, I've seen all the pirate films up to date as far as I can tell.
Are you sad this is the last one?
I think I've seen all of them. I believe the last one I saw was on Stranger Tides, but it's been a while. I can't remember what goes where.
Oh, no, I'm saying, are you going to be sad after this one? Because there will be no more Pirates of the Caribbean after this one.
Aww.
No, I'm going to believe this is actually the last one when no more get made for like 20 years.
Well, they said
And
this
then they
is the last
reboot
one.
it.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably going to be more. Is all I'm saying. That just because someone says, "Oh, this is the last one," doesn't 100% mean this is going to actually be the last one. I have trust issues.
Just wait 50 years.
Well, here's the thing.
I have trust issues here.
This movie
Okay.
This movie cost them $230 million. That's far more than I expected this film to be, and that's largely because of the pushback. This film did not had it did not was released the way it was supposed to release. It had the same problem as The Lone Ranger, and
Being crappy and
do I need
bullshit. But continue.
you remember The Lone Ranger, right?
I've actually
seen that
seen
one yet.
it.
Oh my god!
Don't worry. The only way I can actually halfway think it's a decent film, if I believe that the ramblings Johnny Depp's character is giving is the delusions he's created in his own mind and aren't actually happening, that he's been so traumatized by past events that he's just making up bullshit. And that's the only way that I can enjoy the film. And actually, that's what my mind goes to, so I don't rip my eyes out upon viewing it each
That makes
time.
me think he's Tobias. And I'm sad now.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's not Tobias, because Tobias is actually a good, compelling character, while Johnny Depp's isn't.
Well, here's the thing.
And you have to go for fan theories to think his Johnny Depp's character is actually, decent. Like, you have to really reach with the fan theories. Tobias is an awesome character without fan theories.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
This film
It's
was
fine.
released. This film was released in 4,276 film theaters.
Yeah.
This film needed to make $100+ million to make back their budget. It only made $62 million. Again, this movie may have cost them $230 million. Now, unless they're gonna count worldwide tickets, this film doesn't look like it's gonna be a big hit.
Okay then.
that's gonna be a problem. It really will.
I don't care if Pirates of the Caribbean, is a big hit or not, because this movie shouldn't have been made, and they should all suffer for their mistake. Thank you.
Well, here's a film that I'm surprised was made at all, and I'm like, why do they keep making this film? They shouldn't even talk about it. Diary of the Wimpy Kid
Why?
4, The Long Haul. It's in 6th place. It's a Fox release, made $4.4 million. And for one thing I would say, because I've seen the trailer, you can tell they can't act. There's actually been a trending about an actor who they thought was a girl, and it was actually his brother. He's supposed to play his brother. It's just been one big mess. They said that they had no direction whatsoever. It only cost them $22 million to make, and they made $13.5 million. So if they hang on long enough, they probably make enough their money back. But Could you stop making Donnie Will Be Kid, please?
What?
Please. Can they stop making Donnie Will Be Kid? This film is not going to at least release it in a time where there's no competition. They also have Snitch. I hope I'm saying that right.
Snatch.
Snatch, whatever it is. 4 million. It's $2 million shy of making their money back. But let's talk about King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword.
Oh God, you've ranted about this for 2 goddamn episodes now.
Listen, this
Maybe
is 3 weeks. 3 weeks it's been in theaters. How much they made? Total $33.8 million. This film was a waste of time. WB, what were you thinking? $170 million, $55 million for this film? You know you did something wrong when you lost to Boss Baby. Boss Baby beat you.
Oh boy.
How is that? You know you did something wrong when a film that wasn't supposed to be a hit was more of a hit than your film.
Was that a Sony film, Boss Baby?
Boss Baby is Fox.
Oh, okay. For some reason I had it in my head that it was Sony again.
That's sad, man. It really is sad. But not as sad. I'm actually happy this film is bombing because I do not want to see another film again. This film went so under the radar. I think people forgot it actually came out. You know what film I'm talking about?
What film?
The Smurfs, The Lost Village.
Oh, I knew it came out.
I almost forgot this film came out. It made $300,000, $43 million in ticket sales. It cost them $60 million. We will not see another movie like this again. Thank you.
I've not seen any of the live action / CGI Smurfs movies. I barely remember the TV
You just
show.
don't need to. I saw maybe a minute or two of one of the films and I was just like, yeah, I'm out.
It's a waste of time. I'm kind of Power Rangers is a bomb, unfortunately. I know they're not too happy about this. They started out strong and then just disappeared. Made $85 million total out of $100 million. I was surprised it cost them that much money. $100 million? It actually cost them more than the first 2 Power Rangers combined? Kind of strange.
I'm just thinking if our powers combined, we can summon Captain Planet or something.
Don't say that. Cause, listen, they're making a movie of that. Please. I come to the conclusion. If you don't say nothing about Captain Planet, they won't make a movie.
Captain Planet.
Shush!
There you go. Make me come over here, both of you.
Jinx anything.
No, it's okay. Heart.
Another film that came up this week, which nobody saw, and here's the reason why: The Long Strange Trip. The Untold Story of the Grateful Dead. Now, I said this before. If you're only gonna keep it up, put it on this kind of many theaters, you might as well just put it on video. 2 theaters.
Why?
What's the point? 2 theaters. It made $295,000. Put it on video. Why waste my time? Why waste the time? I hate when they do that. It's annoying. And that's pretty much about it. Nobody cares about Truman. Risk I heard about. Bang, the Brett Burns story. We're not going to talk about it. But those are the news film that came out. Berlin Syndrome came out this week. Ruthless Creatures, Wendy, whatever the hell that name is, came out this week. And The Long Strike Grateful Dead came out this week. Add that with The Pirates and Baywatch. Those are the new films that came out with this week. And like I said, some of these films may be in the UK, some films will not. It all pretty much all depends. And that's just about it, guys. We've been here a lot longer than I actually thought.
I noticed. I'm not getting distracted. I'm like not going on the phone, just like staring down. It's not James' fault. It's Jockerly's fault. Jockerly.
Yeah, it's my fault. We went from top 10 to Terminator ranting.
I'm sorry because obviously I have a lot of opinions on this series, and I didn't realize Jockerly was going to chime in so much because I'm like trying to keep my version as short as humanly possible, and then he I wasn't even able to talk about everything I wanted to on Terminator Genesis because this dude comes in and goes, "Hey, this is my segment now, bitch." Okay.
My apologies, but one thing I will say, it was fun. And Kat, I'd like to see you
Yes.
come back here
I would love
soon.
to come back.
Okay, next week then.
No.
Come back next week. I was leaving post. We still have our Star Wars thing to deal with.
Oh yeah, when the
And I
hell is
don't know.
that ever going to happen?
Part two should happen either next week or the week after, but I'm gonna make it up to you guys. I am actually. I want to be educated, Kat, because you are in the UK. I don't know how much you say you don't watch much television, but you with the television you did watch, I'm pretty sure you can give us a clue. Like I grew up with Mr. Bean. I grew up with Benny Hills. I don't know if you have, but I
I
am
think
kind
Mr.
of.
Bean has been on TV, at least the animated version of the show.
There's a
But
cartoon version.
yeah,
Are you
well, there
kidding me?
was. No.
Look, don't sound so helpless. He's just a soft little bear deep inside.
Aw.
You tap him a little bit and he falls right over.
Okay, then. Okay, next week we're gonna talk about UK versus the United States. Because here's the thing:
Most
I
of
went
my
to my
stuff
local.
is going to be stuff like Danger Mouse and Count Dracula.
Perfect, perfect. You can
Okay.
be educating me because I never
Okay.
heard none of these people. And
Okay,
here's the
great,
thing.
I can do this.
Yes, and here's the thing. I'm bringing this up because number one, I went to Barnes and Noble, looking for the my personal favorite Sherlock Holmes series from Jeremy Brett. Love him as Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yes! Oh my God! I'm highly biased in my favorite Sherlock Holmes because that's how I was introduced to him. And even though there have been other Sherlock Holmes that have done a good job, that's always my. I always think back.
Now I'm looking at the list, and they showed all the stuff, and because you got to go through international slots. And international slots have a lot of shows that I never heard before in the UK, and I'm like fascinated. I did not realize the House of Cards was actually originally a UK show.
Well, neither did I.
That's
I don't watch that sort of
um,
thing, so I'm just as educated as you are.
yeah, Sanford and Son, which is an old 1970 80s black show, was actually based on a British comedy show called Steptoe and Son,
Oh, that I've heard of.
which was kind of weird. I'm like, wow, Sanford and Son is taken from the British, was based loosely on a British comedy. But then I saw
teaching
someone
about
that,
EastEnders and stuff, aren't I?
yeah, and then I saw someone that caught me completely off guard. I did not realize. Now, Josh, you know Law and Order, right?
So, you mean the series that has gone on forever and that has vomited out millions of little series of its own?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know there's a UK version?
I didn't know, but it doesn't surprise me. It's trying
I'm
to take
looking
over
at-
the world now. Hi,
I'm
run.
looking at that. I looked at that video and I said, why is this black man wearing a wig that came from the 1800s? And then I looked at it and said, Law and Order UK.
Oh,
Right.
that's why it's called UK. I didn't understand that at all.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I have definitely seen it in the TV guide, but it made no sense to me. I was just like thinking, oh, so we've just had it edited for our version, but it's American, I would assume.
Yeah, we had it, and then they adapted it there, which is very rare they do that. I rarely see a show get put from there, from one region to the other like that. Normally it's the reversal, but it was like, okay, now I'm curious just how much influence our shows are versus the shows from there. But needless to say, it's definitely something we should be talking about next week, and I want to talk about it next week. And I really love to hear your feeling on the shows. I talked about this with Punchy, who's also in the UK. But now I want to hear it from your perspective.
Where's the? Have you been able to communicate with Punchy?
No,
Okay.
we'll talk about that later. But like I said before, his computer may be still down. Who knows? But there's something I want to talk about. So next week, you will be the feature star of J&J Monday because you will definitely be educating me about the difference between the shows UFC versus the difference between the US, and we'll probably take some notes on it. So, are you interested in this challenge?
I would like to give it a try. I may just need like more information on like what you're gonna need and stuff.
All you need to tell me is your show that you watch on the television on your side of the continent. What shows that you have grown up with? What shows you're watching today? If you are watching these shows, and the difference feeling of UK shows versus United States, which I'm going to automatically get the feeling the moment you explain it. That's basically what it is. It's basically you're growing up on a show, and it gives the audience a more better idea. Because again, audience don't realize there is an entertainment industry in the UK. It's just not as mainstream. I give you a prime example. Peter Sellers was way famous before the Pink Panther. It was the Pink Panther who brought him into mainstream in the U.S. But other than that, he'd been in movies long before then, and he was in actually a radio show long before then.
I see.
So it's pretty much giving us an idea of shows we probably never heard of before, and why they were so famous in the UK. It's pretty much pretty much a learning experience.
I will see what I can do. I'm sure my parents can help as well.
Okay, well, if they want to join, that'd be fun.
I'll
and
probably just ask some questions and make notes and then just tell you from that.
okay, and that would be great. And pretty much we're out because it's 9 to 5 here in the U.S. and I know Johnson needs to get her writing back on, and you need to get some
and then
sleep.
I like to get at least 2 chapters of my fanfic out per weekend, and now I'm watching 2 shows that air Sunday nights, and they're on HBO and Stars respectively, so that means that like I need to start watching around 12 or 1 to get both in. So
All right, and we're going to be out. So next week is and the same way we're going to do it, Josh. In case anything goes on, I'll leave you. I'll text you guys up. But anything else, we should be good to go. And same time as always. And until next time, guys. Sorry for the long, but interesting podcast. Until next time, J77 saying take care, be safe. Talk to you soon. Say goodbye, guys.
adios.
Bye.